In today's episode, entitled Are We the Baddies? But It's Just Xylund, the crew, minus Sid, who's out for the day, and Twinkie, who has to bow out pretty early, find themselves back in the safety of Karacht and trying to deal with the massive pile of bodies that they have accumulated in the past few sessions. Were they successful? Did they find a way out? Did they make new friends? Are they truly the baddies, or is it just Xylund? We hope you enjoy.
We're off to adventure to go roll the dice. Come seize your advantage and you'll roll them twice. Even if we lose our way, we'll make a journey someday. Something awaits you, so wake us away. Who knows what role you'll play? Who knows what role you'll play?
You went toe-to-toe with some Orem goons and held your own. And then you absconded with Cat, an unconscious cat. My notes say that Lana was going to go and explore the center shed. And Xylund was going to head back to Worm Food in order to get an updated map, or I believe a guide or something, some way to get you from here to Karacht via the sewers rather than going in the surface streets, if I remember correctly. You also have this fine fellow that you knocked out and just sort of like left slumped against the wall.
I thought we took him with us.
Yeah, you have him. I just like you knocked him out in the first round and then just left him there. But no, you collected him. So you have two unconscious people. Yes, non-lethal. Yeah, really with chains. You have Cat and then this gent here, who was originally disguised as the butcher, but was quickly revealed to be a dude. So, who would like to start? Do we want to start with Lana in the center chamber, or do we want to start with the crew in the sewers?
Let's start with Lana. She always gets things moving.
Yeah. Okay.
She's like fiber.
Oh God!
Why?
Okay, Erie, he had to. We're in a poop river currently.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. Y'all are in a poop river. All right. So, Lana, again, as it's previously established, while not on the map, there is a small set of stairs you guys had blocked initially, but I believe current unblocked for you. That will lead you up into that sort of courtyard area behind the Clinic of Rildis, where those three sort of utility sheds are. If you pop your head up there, the whole state of the clinic is, while they have not they have not gone into full red alert yet, they are clearly aware that something is amiss, as you can hear the clanging of armor, Rildis being a very armor-heavy Templar set.
I wonder what could possibly be amiss.
Yes. I like prunes. You shut your hole. Prune cake is the best.
You are so wrong. It
No,
hurts me to
not
acknowledge.
wrong.
Maybe it's because they make me violently ill that I'm like a little biased.
Yeah, don't
here,
eat them if they make you ill, but if you can eat them, do eat them. They're very good, and they're good in cake.
I always find
No.
it's bad juju to tell the DM they're very, very wrong.
No, Twinkie, have I made a single decision in this entire campaign?
She's very
I
adamant
refuse.
about that. No, prune cake is the best. You guys don't know. You don't know. Anyway, I will ignore the stain upon my family tradition and continue on. So yeah, there's obviously a tension going on. People, although not in the entire temple, at least a portion of it is aware that Captain is missing, and there seems to be a bit of a search. Thankfully, it has not spilled over into the courtyard yet, so you are able to sneak about as you wish, or go invisible if you choose.
Invisible's good.
Okay. So we will have you be invisible. Are you going directly to the center shed, or do you want to check out the other two?
Let's start with the center and move out from there.
Okay. The center shed is unlocked, and it's actually slightly ajar, as if somebody had just left it recently.
Shit. Late. Okay, let's peer into the shed.
Okay. There's not a whole lot of light in here. No real windows either. It looks like there were windows here at one time that have been blacked out or otherwise boarded over. You can still see the inset windowsills from the inside, but there's absolutely no light coming in. Somebody was just here, given the very gentle waft of candle smoke that's still kind of in the air. Yeah, it has been lessened out. So you can keep your true sight up. There's nothing in here that triggers it. It just seems like a utility shed. There's a large table in the corner. Looks very similar to a butcher's table. It's got a very thick top to it. A sort of thin plating of metal along the top. It doesn't look like a torture table. There aren't any shackles or any restraints or any belts or anything like that you might assume. It just looks very surgical. The base of it is a big, heavy, thick wooden table with massive legs, but it does have that very thin, silvery coating to the top that I assume makes it a little easier to clean. There are tables in the same style along each wall to the left and right. That same kind of silvery top to it and massive base. There's not a whole lot of storage in here, unfortunately, but you can see that there are grooves in the stone where things have been wheeled in and wheeled out on a fairly regular basis. So whoever uses this room looks like they might bring their items with them. Also, along the same lines, in the metal, in the table to your left, something has left imprints. Something corrosive enough to make pit marks in the metal. No real definitive shape to it. Just looks like a Pollock painting. Just sort of splatter marks. There is no back door, no other way out of here. And it's not exceptionally large, so there might be enough room for 2 or 3 people to move about comfortably. And that's about it.
All right. Check. Torture room. Let's go to the next shed.
Okay. The shed to the left is very, very similar in design. It too has had its windows blocked out. It is also unlocked, but this one seems to actually be empty. It wasn't always that way, clearly, given the ruts in the ground. And there are hooks and there are places where things were probably stored, and by the discoloration of the stone, they'd been stored there for a long time. But now it's all been removed. It's all been taken out. You can see the bits of straw and packing material still left on the floor. But it's not clear what was actually in here.
Got it. Check.
Yeah.
One more.
Alright. The right-hand shed, also unlocked. This one still has its contents in it. The windows, again, blocked out, but they have not finished clearing this one out. You can see the same color discoloration in the stone where the hooks are. They're about halfway there. The first hooks do have the stain, and then the last two hooks still have leather bags hanging that are rubbing up against the stone. And in the very, very back, there are multiple crates, several of them too large for one person to move on their own, and then several others that are more reasonable, more suitcase sized. But they are all sealed, as far as you can tell. None appear to be open.
Well, Max and I had exactly the same thought,
Oh, you think there's body parts?
which is obviously they should be opened.
Okay. How would you like to do that?
So is it like what's the crate made out of again?
They're wooden crates, but they're all nailed shut. They're like shipping containers.
Gotcha. Is this the kind of situation where you can like pry a knife under it and pull a nail
Yeah,
out?
you need a crowbar or hammer, or yeah, if you
As if
can.
I don't have all of those things at any point in time.
Yes, you would need a tool or somebody with giant strength to handle the situation.
I apparently have been lugging thieves' tools around the entire campaign, so I
Okay.
assume that crowbar. When did
Okay.
I get those?
I'm not sure. Who knows? Who knows when you got thieves' tools? You probably picked them off of a table somewhere. Yeah, Lana does have proficiency. So you can attack the what's your strength score, by the way?
Bad? 8?
I was gonna say I didn't think you were super strong. Go ahead and do a strength check with advantage. Oh, that's not bad.
12?
It's not bad. The largest shipping crates are a little too sturdy for you. You don't have enough physics on your side to get those open, but you can get some of the smaller ones. And inside, amongst straw and other dry paper, there are what appear to be laboratory equipment. It's hand blown glass, bottles, beakers, small bits of wrought iron that look like stands. Um, yeah, it there's no body parts, and whatever is in here doesn't appear to ever have been used.
I can. This is an early Christmas present for Lily. I'm just gonna put that in the bag of holding.
Okay. Stuff your lab equipment in there. Yeah, and it's I mean, it seems fine and in good shape and good quality. Yeah, that seems to be all that's in the boxes that you can open.
Okay, and the hanging leather bags that definitely don't have organs in them.
The hanging leather bags, there are three of them along the opposite wall, and they are stuffed with various herbs for the most part. Although the very, very last bag does have some questionable items in there. There's the distinct smell of decay coming from it.
Ugh.
What you see is butcher paper, but the smell is fairly unmistakable.
All right, let's open.
There is some bleed through to answer Lily's question. There's some bleed through on the back of the bag, which is what's making the stain on the
All
wall.
right, let's see whose head this is.
All right, pulling it out. It's opening the butcher paper. They're not heads, thankfully. They're not even freeform organs. They are actually meat pies that have gone bad and have started to seep through their pastry. But they do reek like nobody's business.
Okay, I will figure that mystery out later. That is not going in the bag of holding. That can stay.
All right. Bag o' meat pies.
Nope, that stays here.
All right.
Okay, I really want to get those big crates open, but the only ways I have to do that are very, very loud.
You are invisible.
Hmm? Yes, but you're not here. I don't have your acid. Guess I could send a rat to pick it up.
You're gonna have a rat bring acid back in its mouth?
I've heard worse ideas.
That's true.
Mostly from me, but no, I'm gonna leave those reluctantly.
Okay.
Okay, mission accomplished.
All right. Heading back out the way you came, or are you going to stay on the surface?
I should probably rejoin my party.
Okay. All right. So able to wind back the way you came to join the rest of the crew, their collection of unconscious people. Oh, I should probably give some. Who wants to play Kern today? I forgot he's not here.
I have enough trouble controlling one person. I don't need another.
So do you still? Somebody had control of Kern at one point. Nobody currently has control of Kern. Yeah, I know you had him at some point. Do you want to take him over again?
Sure, I can be Kern.
Just in case. I don't know that you'll actually need to, but just in case. My internet would like to, do stuff. That'd be awesome. All right. You should have Kern. Okay, so the crew has once again rejoined in the River of Poop. Lily and Hildreth are both still under the effects of their of their anti-magic ward.
And we're both still sulking about it.
Yeah, they're apparently having a pity party. What about the rest of you?
Well, I was gonna go grab worm food. I thought I was doing that while Lana was.
Okay, no, that's fine. We can definitely do that. Do you know? You can follow the map back to go get worm food.
Okay.
Are you bringing a body with you, or are you going to leave it behind?
A body?
Yeah, you have two unconscious people.
Oh no, I won't bring them. These guys can watch over them.
Okay, I'm just asking. All right, so following your map back to the location that was originally marked, you pass the body of one of your assailants still in the sewers, very clearly dead.
What, the berserker?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Shit.
Uh,
What killed him?
Well, he's sort of sprawled along the side like he tripped and fell. There's no obvious wounds other than, the ones you guys gave him. It looks like he just sort of gave out. Just sort of sprawled on the side there.
Okay, I think this is worth the trip back to the crew, so I'll sling him over my shoulder and head back to where everyone's waiting.
Okay.
Thump him down. Lily, you might want to autopsy this guy, and then I'll head back.
Sure. Okay.
Or Hildreth.
Yeah, he'll just might want to cut him up. That's something
I'm gonna
he'll
take
just
a look
likes
at. I'm
to
gonna
do.
take a look at him first
Okay.
before he gets all cut up and any evidence is replaced.
Okay.
I want to see if I can determine cause of death. If there's anything, maybe like I don't know, maybe he got hit by a poisonous blowgun or something.
Okay.
You
You
know,
can examine the body while Lana is up above and Xylund continues on his trek to find worm food. Not terribly difficult, given your map. Can you roll an intelligence check, please? Xylund?
Oh, me?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Super smart.
Super smart. So you can make your way back to Wormfood's office, having remembered the way, and that way you don't have to go through Stanley, since he was the one who took you there initially. I mean, you can go see Stanley if you want to, but you
I do
remember
not
where the
want to.
office is. No, you do not. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I'm just giving you the option. You wanted to say hi. So Wormfood is in his office. His door is definitely shut. He does subscribe to the Henry Rollins If you're not expected, you're not invited. So fuck off.
I will knock politely.
Politely, okay.
Yeah.
Those little door slides open, little face sticks out.
I need you to come with me. Briefly. It's an emergency of national importance. But keep it under your hat.
Kind of emergency.
Like the fate of Greylock type of emergency.
Uh-huh. Well, why do you need me?
Because we need to get through the sewers to Karok.
Okay. Why do you need me?
To guide us.
Well, I don't know my way around. I could draw you a map if you got time.
All right, but could you do it faster than you did the last one?
Do you want it fast or do you want it accurate?
Both.
Well, slams the door shut.
Did I offend you? I didn't mean to offend you. There's an emergency.
You hear the sound of heavy iron-bound books being slammed on wooden tables. Vials of ink clinking against each other. Somebody's throwing a royal fit. It does take, and it's even so, it still takes about 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
And door slides open again. You can just see his face on the other side. He just thrusts out this massive piece of parchment, about the size of like a portrait that you would expect an artist to have, canvas size. Then the ink is even still a little wet, so it's starting to run in a few places.
All right, thank you. I'll make sure that you get your name gets engraved on whatever statue or plaque eventually gets erected, in our honor after we save the city. Special thanks, worm food.
Yeah, no, not amused. So now you have this huge piece of parchment, ink running all over the place, very hastily drawn. Not a lot of detail to it, but it is serviceable.
Okay, well, I'll head back to the others then.
Okay. You can't fold it up or it'll blot.
No,
So
I'll do my best to blow on it and hold it so it's not going to run and smear and stuff.
Okay. So make your way back to the crew. Lily, during your investigation, like I said, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of outside trauma other than what you visited upon him.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like he collapsed. There's no discoloration of the skin other than his own tattoos. There's no bruises other than what's to be expected. And yeah, it doesn't.
Were any of the wounds we dealt enough for him to actually bleed out?
There were some pretty deep ones. You didn't notice a whole lot of blood splatter when you guys were fighting him. But there does seem, but several of the wounds were deep enough that they probably would have bled heavily. Yeah.
Could it have been possibly really hard to tell when I'm A, still don't have detect magic somehow, and B, can't cast any, but
Nope.
is it something that could have possibly been magically caused?
Maybe. It's hard to, again, you have no
Right.
idea. And if it was, and if you're standing over him, it wouldn't work anyway.
I mean, he's already dead. The magic's already done his job. It's not
Yeah.
like nullifying magic will bring him back to life.
No, thankfully. That would be bad. So yeah, without a deeper investigation, it's hard to tell exactly what caused it.
No signs of like infection or poison. Like he was running through a poop river with open
Yeah,
wounds.
no, like I said, no discoloration of the skin, no gangrene, no necrosis, nothing that would indicate anything like that. Like there was a foreign poison or an infection or anything. And you
So
guys
either
just saw him. So there
either
wouldn't
he
have a whole lot of chance.
Yeah. So either he bled out because he was sprinting like crazy and then his rage ran out, which is possible. or somebody ran into him and removed a loose end, because that's what he was.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, Xylund, you've returned with your map.
Okay.
The party has once again gathered together. Go ahead.
We left the other guy alive, didn't we?
hmm
The other.
Yeah, he's alive but unconscious. Yeah.
Right. Well, here's my thinking. We thought that this guy got away and alerted everyone, but that doesn't seem to be the case now. So maybe we should tie up all the loose threads, if you get my meaning. And I'll make a motion across my throat.
Hold on. You want to kill him because the other guy died?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no point in killing him before because the cat was already out of the bag. But if the cat is still in the bag, maybe we should drown the cat.
Oh, I was just thinking let's grab this guy and interrogate him. Maybe he's more cooperative than the other guy down there.
No, he's saying to kill the one who shot me with a crossbow bolt, which
Yeah, that guy. He's
I'm
not
not
very helpful. We already interrogated him.
which I'm not really opposed to. But I do want to illustrate the point that we only now have a chance that the cat's not out of the bag, so to speak, because there's no obvious cause of death. I mean, it's possibly he could have bled out from the wounds we dealt him, but it could also be that one of his compatriots or the butcher himself removed him as a loose end, and again, everybody is already aware. Could go either way. Again, I'm not saying we don't kill the guy we left back there. I mean, I'm not saying we do. I'm just saying if we're trying, I don't know what I'm saying. This is information. Here you go. Do with it what you will.
So is Lana back now?
Yes. You guys can all be in the same room so you can have
Okay.
this discussion.
Well,
Yes.
Lana, how did the rescuing of Cat go? Did anyone actually see you grab her? Like, do we still have plausible deniability?
No, we do not.
Okay, well then we might as well just let him live. Although, maybe we should, if we just left him there, maybe we should just take him with us. I mean, maybe he'll be more cooperative after a while. Maybe we need to.
Or he could be a liability if he manages to escape, and he could tell people wherever we decide to hide.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't know where we're going.
Or
Okay.
or he manages to escape and then he, ambushes us or tells people about our capabilities. Like, it is a risk. Again, I'm not saying we do kill him, but it is a risk to leave him alive. It's a bigger risk to take him with us than to just leave him alive and down here, which is a bigger risk than just killing him here.
Okay, well, we've got this little body double guy. We can interrogate him later if we want to interrogate someone. All right, let's just leave him where he is and continue on with the plan, such as it is.
Fine by me.
So what is the plan?
Go to Karak.
Go to
Through the
Kara.
sewers.
We have a plan?
Through the sewers, yeah. Well, that's as far as the plan extends. I mean, go to Karak, have a long nap, come up with an actual plan.
Yeah.
So Karak
Save the actual planning for when we're not in a potentially deadly situation.
right.
Xylund, would you mind if I took a look at the map you retrieved?
Nope. Oh, while you're doing that, I will use my detect magic to examine this body of the barbarian.
Please do, and I'll move away so that it'll actually work. And I'm pretty good with maps, and other such documentation. I want to see if I can find us a decent route, that's going to be not like all over the place, but also relatively safe, if at all possible.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll your investigation of dude
Okay.
with advantage, and you have detect magic on.
Hey, that's not bad.
Hey, not a lot of his items are magical. The one thing that does set off is the ink in his tattoos.
Oh. Wait. Don't we know someone who does magical tattoos? Isn't this a thing we've encountered before? Don't those underground fuckers do magical tattoos?
So does
So do
Campanalis.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of people. Tattooing is pretty widespread. It's
Actually, doesn't
especially
even Inaline do magical
Mhm.
tattoos? Oh, okay.
Inaline does magical tattooing. Kalishin does magical tattooing. You find it a lot in like chaos deities. They do a lot of magical tattooing, or religions that have restrictions on what they wear, or like with druids and their vows against metal. You find that often as a substitute when magical jewelry or religious iconography isn't available. You find a lot of religions will default to magical tattoos.
I use my comprehensive religious knowledge to discern the meaning of the tattoos.
What you actually see is pretty pictures.
Oh, I'm good at religion. No. Yes, decent at religion. Also, I'm good at arcana.
Yeah, you should probably take a look at these.
Okay. Am I finished with the map, Erie?
The map itself is pretty straightforward. It's not nearly as intricate as the one that brought you down here. It was clearly done in a hurry, and it really only shows one route. As a matter of fact, on several of the offshoots from the prescribed route, there's actually big red X's. Like someone took a red wax and just like stamped it with "Don't fucking go there." Yeah, this isn't nearly as. This is less of an architectural blueprint and more of a back of the napkin kind of thing.
So my work has already been done for me.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to discern. It's pretty much one big arrow. Now, whether this is a safe route, you don't really know because again, it's only really presenting you with an A to B choice.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm gonna give the map back to Xylund, because I only asked to look at it and not to keep it, and I'm very particular about specifics. So I'm going to, when Xylund's like, I don't know what these fucking tattoos mean, I'm gonna use my prodigious arcanic knowledge to see if I can figure out what they mean.
Okay.
Or religious, depending on whatever I recognize it as being more towards.
Well, I mean, you can roll an intelligence check and it'll give you an idea of what you're looking at.
That just hurts.
I
I also am really good with history too.
Yeah.
If they're like historical tattoos for like a particular barbarian sect or whatever.
I mean, you can try history, or you do have a bard in the party.
Hi.
Yeah. I just hate how I have all these amazing stats, but my RNG luck is so horrible that they basically mean nothing.
I mean, I feel your pain. They seem like they're cursed tattoos? Okay. Anyone who wants to is welcome to try.
What's the check again? Just straight in.
Yeah, you do int or history. Lana, since you have history available to you.
You gave me the option for history, so I'll take
Yep.
it.
Okay, so Davynn is just, I don't know.
They look
Davynn's
pretty.
like, hey, these are cool.
Those are neat.
I want them. Where do I get those?
Both Lana and Lily, the tattoos themselves are less an arcane or religious significance and more of a historical significance. they are indicative of tribes within the Paragon Mountain, which are outside of Orem. So they mark him as somebody who probably came from the tribes, the Paragon tribes, which would make sense.
And that's Paragon, like the word Paragon?
That's just like the word Paragon. Yep.
In which mountains?
Paragon Mountains, outside of
Okay.
Orem.
Paragon tribes in the Paragon Mountains. That makes it
Yeah.
nice and simple.
Yep. Those tribes basically rule that area and have for centuries until they were taken over by Orem. And now that kingdom, the Meta Kingdom, was the last to fall to Orem.
I'm getting serious Roman vibes about Orem, and now
Yeah.
and these tribes are like the Gauls.
Kind of. Yeah, the Mountain Kingdom was the last kingdom. It's on the other side of the continent from Orem. It was the longest holdout when Orem was stomping around the continent because they were so isolated. And they eventually did fall, and their queen became a counselor to the region of Orem. And the tribes, the Paragon tribes, all sent basically representative regiments of their people to serve in the army.
Well, that's a better fate for the queen than what the Romans actually did.
Yes. Yes.
So should we
Which-
take this guy for evidence since he's definitely with Orem? Or, I mean, do we even need to prove that, though?
Well, I
We
feel
can
like we
prove
still
this to
do.
Yeah, we still need to prove this to some of the people in the council.
That's true.
So,
Right.
I say yes, we take him with us because, sure, they could say that he was a lone actor or blah blah blah, disavow all knowledge, but the fact that he is very, very far from home doing things that are almost definitely shady, and Greylock, it'll be hard to deny.
All right, let's take him then.
It's definitely one you're going to have to carry. He's a beefy boy.
I mean, since we're taking so many fucking bodies, we might as well just grab the other guy. Well, no, you made a good point. Let's leave him there. All right, let's go.
Okay.
We didn't say anything, but okay, I guess we made a good point.
No, he was saying
earlier.
the point that Lily made about him being a risk if we take him captive.
We do have dimensional shackles, though.
Mm-hmm. We have 2 sets of dimensions.
2 sets of dimensional shackles. I need mine for if we run into a glamour, but
those prevent any kind of dimensional movement, but they're not necessarily foolproof. I mean, dislocates his thumb, he slips out of them, or he just runs with them. I mean, they're very good and very secure, but I don't think we should consider them foolproof.
all right, let's leave him then.
Okay. So, to sum up, Xylund is carrying the barbarian, the very dead barbarian. Kern has Cat, who's taken your mage.
I can take him. I mean,
I'll take the mage. I mean, I'm also strong. Well, wait,
Okay.
I'm not giant strong. Xylund, you can show off.
thanks. I'll
Yeah,
take
better
him.
to have somebody. better to have combat capable people with their hands free.
You're just gonna
Especially
do.
because
Go ahead.
especially because Lily and Hildreth are mostly non-functional.
Yeah.
Lily more than Hildreth. Hildreth at least has some things he can do. Although Lily does have Nautilus. Can I summon her outside the bubble, or would that count as me doing magic?
That's a spell.
Yeah, so Lily can't do shit.
Mm-mm.
So she's gonna make sure that she either is gonna be far back enough away from the party that everybody is just outside of her no magic radius.
Actually, I don't think it would be horrible for us to stay in that radius. Then no one can scry on us or whatever.
That is true.
That's not a bad idea.
I
But
do
yeah.
have good ones occasionally.
And then just be ready to, in case of combat, scatter out of it. That's
Yeah.
true.
You can sidestep 5 feet in a pinch.
Fair enough.
Um,
Lily
just
is. Go ahead.
before we get to character, I just want to say that my contact there is like a serving maid, and she's really like her culture doesn't like answering questions, so don't ask her a lot of questions about anything. She's from out of town,
Well, what culture is that?
mountain culture. She's from the mountains.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Does it? Are there mountains near us?
Which mountain
Mm.
culture?
The Paragons.
Huh.
Oh, well, maybe she knows something about this guy then.
No, don't ask her about that. She doesn't. She, like I say, she doesn't like answering questions.
Yeah, but this is the fate of the world. If we're gonna get other people to answer questions, then
I'll
we're gonna
ask
have
her
to-
about it. All right, she
Okay,
knows
cool.
more. But the rest of you just kind of keep your distance.
Fine by me. I have
Alright.
things to study.
So, with your bodies in tow and embubbled in the dome of anti-magic and sadness, the crew can use its hastily constructed map to navigate its way through the Poop River, through various levels of quality of Poop River. There are some places where the sewers are pretty bad. Clearly, they've not been well maintained. The stone is crumbling, and the walls are really no longer containing the river. And there's some sidestepping that needs to be done, and bits that need to be jumped over, and don't touch the walls in any respect. And areas where they obviously have been taken care of, which kind of gives you an indication that you're heading into the older part of the city, where the stones turn from kind of brown and black, and the water is really brackish and awful, to these appear to actually have been made, if not from Geschel, at least from white stone. Which would indicate that you are in the old city. And here things are a little more uniform and a little better maintained, although you are still in a sewer. There are areas as you make your way across the city where you can hear the people above, where you can tell you're close to the market because you can smell the food being sold. And you hear the clank of armor as you get close to various grates. It kind of gives you a sense of where you might be in the city itself. Eventually, you make your way to X marks the spot on your lovely map, crafted carefully and diligently by Wormfood. And it leads you up, not to the front of Karak, but actually off to the side, to the midden of Karak. So you go from Poop River to Poop Valley, effectively. This is the compost area. This is where pigs would have been kept. There aren't any currently. Someone appears to have let them go or escorted them to a different location. You can still see their pen and definitely smell their presence, but they are no longer here. The area is walled off with stone, 10-foot high walls of stone, and everything else back here is just compost and muck and leavings from what was at one point a busy kitchen. The only way out of this area, there's a rather large set of double gates, wrought iron double gates, that look seriously locked. And then the door that goes into the interior, which is also large, heavy, iron-bound oak, that also appears to be, if not locked, at least shut.
Oh, Davin, you still have the sending stone, don't you?
I believe so.
Maybe you could ask her to open the door for us so we don't have to smash it down.
Sure. Who am
All
I
right,
asking?
ask her. Here, just give me the stone.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you said. Oh, okay, cool. So she doesn't mind being asked things, but she doesn't like questions.
Yes.
One is probing for information, and the other is requesting something.
Right. Lily gets it.
I understand the distinction. I'm just trying to make sure so that I can be polite.
Yeah, yeah. You really want to be culturally sensitive in this situation.
You'd think in most situations.
Well, this one in particular, though.
Sure. It helps to be polite to somebody who can help you.
All right, I will take the stone and ask Dia to open the door for us.
Okay. And tell her which door, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. It does take a bit before the door opens. You can hear the iron bar being drawn back 3 times. This sucker was very secure. And then eventually the door does pull open slightly, and a woman's face kind of peers out the crack, taking all of you in for just a moment before opening the door fully. The sight of all of you.
Hello, my name is Davynn from Whitfeld, and you don't have to tell me your name.
As she,
I give Davynn a thumbs up.
like her mouth kind of hangs open for a second. She looks greatly confused, mostly tired, but also confused. And she looks a little bit older than the lot of you, but clearly tired. Early gray hairs in her brown hair pulled back. She is dressed like a not like a handmaiden, not that fancy, but more like a serving girl or a housemaid. Very plain clothes. She again is sort of just taking in a lot of you, eventually remembering to close her mouth, and gives her head a little shake. And she curtsies as the door remains open, allowing you guys to come in.
Thank you.
You don't have to curtsy for these guys.
Very true. We're not very cultured at all.
And waits for the lot of you to come in before shutting and bolting the door. And in a very low voice, she kind of sidles up next to Xylund. I appreciate you didn't knock it down this time.
Yeah, we're trying to keep a low profile.
Perhaps you could fix the front door while you're here?
Yep, I can do that. So first of all, we should probably could you get I think we need baths. I think that should be the top thing on the list.
Xylund, you read my mind, you glorious bastard.
But and we should probably I'll take a look at Kat. How's she doing?
Well, she's unconscious and she looks like hell. She's breathing, but barely.
Okay. From what I remember, she didn't like being in Karak much last time she was here. Didn't she go insane at some point?
Well, that was when
We all did.
that was when Tim
yeah.
Lakos was, fucking with everybody's head.
Okay.
She did have a moment when you guys were trapped in Karak. She absolutely had a moment. And she has mentioned, even before that, she mentioned in passing that she doesn't like being in Karak. It makes her nervous.
Okay, well, how about this for a plan? We have baths, we have a nap, and then we deal with everything else. We hope that by then Kat has recovered somewhat. I don't know.
I think it would probably be beneficial if we had somebody look at her while we were bathing and napping, just to be safe.
Who do we trust to do that?
Is there anybody here in Karak who has the capability?
Nope. There's her. I point to Dai. She has a kid. There's Nasali, and that's it.
Right, then Turn would probably be the best for restoration of any kind, but if I had access to an alchemy lab, I could also try and make things to...
Oh yeah, about that. I will give Lily her Christmas present.
Yay!
This is why you're always my favorite person, Lana.
I never had any doubt in that.
So, if I have a space to work, I could potentially see what I can find out about symptoms of whatever condition she may have and make something to ease it.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna have a bath and a nap.
Right, so, okay, I'll do that then, and Kern can bathe because... Right. Is there a space I can work?
Guy just kind of looks mildly panicked.
Lily, that's a question. Take her to a place where she can do alchemy, please.
It's is watching Davynn talk. And then she
Again, that's a
responds
request.
equally slowly, like, speak loudly and clearly to foreigners kind of tone. I don't know where that would be.
I have most of the things that I would need on my person. If you could take me to a mostly bare room with preferably two longish tables, one for, or a table and a bed, one for a cat to rest on and one for me to spread my tools out, that would be more than adequate. Please and thank you.
Oh yeah, just so you're all caught up, Di, this lady here, I point at Kat, is gonna fix Nasali. We just gotta fix her first. All right.
She points at the dead barbarian. And what's that one for?
For fun.
Her expression cycles through 3 or 4 different iterations.
Forgives Xylund his dry wit and gallows humor. No, he was, let's just say, evidence of malintent. Not on our parts, but it'll help return things back to normal if we can prove that certain parties are doing things illicitly.
She kind of nods slowly. I think I know a room that can help. So
That would
she'll
be
make sure you're following, and then she kind of shuffles away in a weird little gait, like trying to look behind her, but still like trying not to slam into a wall.
yeah, I will thank her for her kindness and have whoever's carrying Cat come with us because I certainly don't have the strength to carry Cat.
No, Kern's got cat.
Okay, which is good because if I can't make anything work with alchemy, he can try and make something work with, cleric bullshit.
Cleric bullshit. All right.
They're OP,
Say
okay?
with such disdain.
They're OP as hell.
Yeah.
They got something for everything.
Yeah. Clerics are handy.
Oh, is somebody sad that she has to prepare her spells every day? That she doesn't know the entire spell list?
Yeah, a little bit. And also, like, anything that alchemy can do, clerics can do it better.
True. But you got to make your god happy or they take your powers away.
True.
So, no.
True. Lily doesn't like her effectiveness relying on making someone else happy because she's horrible at that.
So Di will take you to what was probably a guest room. It is the closest thing to what you've asked for. There's a sideboard and a dresser that could very easily make a table. There is a bed, clearly. There are chairs. So she has a massive keyring, and all the doors appear to be locked because as she leads you through Karok, she has to keep unlocking doors and locking them behind her as she goes through. But eventually she does take you to this little guest room. Well, not little. I mean, it's fairly sizable. And it's moderately clean, although it is starting to look a little disused.
Okay.
but she leaves you there.
I will thank her again because honestly, she is being way too accommodating and she deserves gratitude.
Mm. She'll just nod and curtsy again and kind of shut the door as she goes. You can hear the clink of the keys as she makes her way back. So you've got Lana, Hildreth, Davynn, and Xylund with his body collection left behind. What do you guys want to do?
Bath. Where's the kid?
They haven't seen the kid.
Do I know the kid's name?
I don't believe you ever asked his name.
Child! Small child! Was he small?
Yes, he was very small. Yes, he was very small.
I-
You
It's
don't
me.
get a response.
It's Uncle's Island.
Yeah, you don't get much of a response.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to draw our own baths then.
Were you gonna make a small child draw you a bath?
Yes,
He's little.
can do it. That's how you learn.
I don't know if that's typical uncle behavior or not. So I'm not so sure whether or not Xylund's declaring himself as Uncle's Island is insincere and manipulative or genuine.
No.
Can be genuine and manipulative.
This very true. Very
Alright.
true.
What are you gonna do with these bodies that you're hauling around?
Throw him in a corner.
He's gonna-
Well, one of them is still alive, right?
Oh yeah, that.
Yes, one is unconscious but alive. The other is very dead.
Oh, okay. We should put dimensional shackles on the living one, dump him in a corner, and then dump the corpse on top of him, so that when he wakes up, he thinks that we thought he was dead and we just threw him in the corpse corner when actually we know he's alive. But he's gonna like totally fucking freak him out, and it'll sort of soften him up for when we start asking him some questions.
Psychological torture. Getting started
Exactly.
early. I like it.
Like is a word for that.
Hey guys, we've gone to the dark side already. We might as well fully commit.
All right, so you shackle up your unconscious friend and place the dead barbarian on top of him for maximum psychological torture. And they go off to find a bath.
Well, one of us should probably stay here just in case this little dude can do some shit when he wakes up.
Well, you can always leave Hildreth here if you like.
Okay. Yeah, he'll just
I'm sure Hildreth would absolutely love to partake in psychological torture.
Yeah, Hildreth is psychological torture. Waking up to a dead barbarian on top of you and Hildreth in the room would just maximize the effect beyond anything we could even hope to do.
All right. The Hildreth will stay, partially because Hildreth also still has the anti-magic zone, which will negate anything your friend might try to do should he wake up and panic.
Good thinking, Hildreth.
Hildreth is a bright one. Which leaves the three of you. Are you all headed off in search of baths? Are you waiting for Di to return? Do you want to explore on your own? What is it that you would like to do here? Should probably change the background now that you're at Kara proper.
And not in a poop river.
Not in Poop River.
Well, I'm on Bath Quest.
Yeah, I think I might stay with the. I'll stay with the guy as well, with Hildreth.
Okay. Yeah, Cat got
Just in
taken
case.
away.
Oh, can I say that I asked whoever took the poison, the null magic bolt from the fighter to have handed that over, because I'm also going to take the opportunity to see if I can figure out a way to neutralize that, if at all possible.
Oh yeah, sure, you can have it.
Cool.
There's some gray luck for you.
Oh, hey, look, all our graffiti's still there.
Yeah. I'm not erasing it. You guys wanted it there. It's there now.
I regret nothing about this.
I just like how it's evolved over time.
Yeah.
I think most of this graffiti has been there since the first time this picture ever popped up.
Most of it has. We have erased some of it because it used to have Davynn's dogs on here.
Oh yeah. The mob's still there.
Canite and Barkness.
Yep, Canite and Barkness before they got dead. Yep, they used to be on here. But all right. So Xylund is heading for a bath. Lana's gonna stay. Davynn, you're gonna stay as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So Xylund tromps off in search of a bath. Di will eventually return to the little entrance where she let you in. Again, locking and unlocking as she comes and shutting the door, and kind of startled to see you here. And you see her looking around a little bit, most likely for Xylund, where she smiles.
Hello.
Hello.
No, that's hold on. Just a second. Let me think about this one. I would like to know your name.
Kind of has a twisted smile. Oh, my name is Di.
Ah, cool. I'm Davynn. Let me know if I ever accidentally offend you with my inquisitiveness.
I have a 4-year-old. I don't think you can possibly be too inquisitive.
Oh, what's his name? Wait, no. Sorry. I would like to know your 4-year-old's name as well.
She kind of laughs and sits down back against the door. His name is Eirik. I'll put that in chat too. Do you always talk like this?
Okay, now I'm confused because is it just a reciprocal thing? Like, you can ask us questions, but we can't ask you. No, that's another question. I'm so sorry.
She laughs to herself. I recognize your voice from the stone.
Oh, yes, that was me. Yeah.
Why are you two sitting next to the dead?
Well, one of them isn't actually dead, and I'd like to speak to him when he awakes.
Okay. And the other one?
As far as we can tell, he's dead.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he is. Why do you have him?
I don't think we have figured out why he is dead yet, and we would like to know that.
Oh. Does it matter?
Possibly. I can't say for sure yet.
I see. You're the heroes of Greylock, right?
Yep, that's us. I think.
I see.
This
And
is
how-
hard without asking questions, I will say that much.
You can ask questions. Who told you couldn't ask questions?
Oh, we can. Okay, sweet. Xylund said that you would be offended if we asked you questions.
Xylund. And she kind of points towards one of the exits where Xylund left.
Yeah, he said that it was a cultural thing that you came from the mountains.
I laughs. That's what he said.
Is that wrong?
Not entirely wrong, I suppose. I've lived in Valwall for quite some time. That's in the mountains.
Okay, but the cultural thing was probably just a misunderstanding. He does that sometimes where he doesn't exactly pick up on social cues.
Well, that's accurate. Yes. I would say so. And sometimes he just lies.
Wow, that's a very accurate assessment of him. Have you known him for a long time?
She laughs. Yes. I've known him for a very long time.
Oh, well, if I'm allowed to ask you questions, then how exactly?
He didn't tell you.
No. He just said that you were a contact.
Oh. Well, I guess I am. A contact. A long-suffering contact, I suppose. Can I get you something to eat while you sit with the dead? She looks at Davynn and Lana.
I will not say no to a potato.
Potato?
Preferably cooked, yes.
Davin is determined to stereotype himself.
Do you eat raw potatoes?
No, I said preferably cooked.
Would yeah, of course. I didn't. I don't think I've ever been. I don't think I've ever had a request to make sure I cooked a potato.
Well, I can also cook for myself. I just don't cook as well.
Well, I have stew. I could bring you if that would be okay.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Looks at Lana. Do you eat stew as well?
Yes.
She kind of nods. And where did what do you call him?
Xylund?
Xylund. Where did Xylund go?
Off to take a bath, if I recall.
All the doors are locked. He's going to find that difficult.
Oh, he'll probably break one down or something.
Oh, I hope not. Yeah, exactly. Sound of smashing doors. I will get your stew, and then I will look in on that. I'll be right back. So she unlocks and scurries off, and she does come back with stew after a bit. If you get tired of waiting in the cold, I do have a small room with a fire in it. You're welcome to stay. I'm going to go find that door now. And she runs off in the other direction.
All right, sounds good.
Are you actually busting down doors, Xylund?
Well, I mean, I will make an educated guess which door I think might have a bath behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will gently force it open.
Okay. So, sounds of splintering wood and...
Yeah.
Yeah. A die comes in behind you. What are you doing?
Looking for a bath. Where'd your kid get to?
He's back in her room. I don't let him wander the castle.
Oh, that's probably safe. What's his name again?
Eric.
Eric. Okay.
Do you need help?
Yeah. Could I get a bath, please?
Yes, I can draw you a bath. I mean, I am your contact, after all. And she goes to get the bucket, rolls up her sleeves.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk too much to those guys. We were in the sewers in a pitched battle, and they were hit by a magic spell that addled their brains, and so they don't make a lot of sense. And they're not going to retain anything that you tell them anyway, because their brains are so addled. So, just really no point.
She starts to fill your bath and just looks at you. Eyebrow raise. I fed them.
Oh, okay.
Do you often haul dead bodies in other people's homes?
No, but we're uncovering a conspiracy.
What kind of conspiracy?
Well, Orem is in league with the Church of Eldis to take over the city.
Sounds complicated.
Yep, and that guy has evidence that Orem is up to shenanigans.
Don't people generally know that, though?
Yeah, I thought they might. We might not need him. We'll see. He's got sinister tattoos, sinister incriminating tattoos.
I see. Why do they call you Xylund?
Well, that's because I told them to, I guess.
Do you want me to call you that?
If you wouldn't mind. I mean, at least in front of them.
Okay, I will try to remember.
I mean, it's fairly similar to my real name, so not that hard to remember.
Well, thank goodness. She says as she dumps down the last bit of water. Would
Xylund
want
Sidewing,
something to
if
be
you-
complicated.
Exactly. Xylund Sidewing, if you want the full.
Xylund Sidewing. That's adventurous,
Yeah, well, I'm a big deal now.
I guess. I mean, I kind of knew you were before, but I guess so. I'll take
So
your bath.
thanks.
What?
I appreciate it. We're just going to rest because we're a little depleted from that pitched battle I mentioned earlier. And then we're going to sort everything out. We're going to, try to fix this whole Nasali situation and then figure out what to do next.
You realize she can't be fixed, right?
Nasali?
Or Grace? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's in your power.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
But I do see. I see every day. I don't think she's coming back.
Well, that's not... That kind of negative talk isn't going to help matters.
Not negative, it's realistic.
She'll be fine.
Okay. Take your bath. Is there any other way I can serve you, sir, while you're a guest? The great Castle Carroct.
Well, if you're making food, I could use some food.
I made food.
Okay, well, I'll take some of that then, please.
She closes the door behind you. Best she can, as it's now slightly off of its hinges. Leaves
Oh,
you
yeah.
to your bath.
I'll fix that door later, too, I shout after her.
You better. She is off in the tinkling of keys. Yeah, he hasn't fixed the other door either. He's just busting doors.
I meant the first door. I'm not going to fix the second door.
Yeah, I can fix the second door?
The second door is fine. It's just a small door. I need to fix the big door, though.
You do need to fix the big door.
I'm picturing like an Always Sunny transition where Xylund's like, "I'll fix that door later," and then the title card pops up. Xylund breaks all the doors.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. All right, so Lana and Davynn have been fed. Xylund's got his bath. A knock on Lily and Kern's door a little bit later brings stew for them as well.
Lovely.
Figured you might be hungry.
Yes, famished. So, Lily, by nature, while she does like Xylund, doesn't really trust him when he says anything.
Oh,
So
that's
I
probably
just
was.
want to take a good hard look at Dai.
Yeah.
He said she was from the Paragon Mountains.
That's what he said.
With my historical knowledge that I've already proven, Are there any signs, like, are there any cultural signifiers that could indicate that? Like, do the tribes tend to all get tattoos, or is it just their warriors? Do they have specific like ethnic coloring that they have a tendency to? Something that could be like, nah, he's full of shit.
Well, the Paragon Mountains were subjugated long enough ago uh, that the ones it depends on where they live. If they still live in the mountains, then they kept most of their cultural practices. Tattooing is not one of them. Tattooing is something that is specifically for the tribes like deep in the mountains. They're more for the warrior caste, more for the more insular communities, because there are cosmopolitan quote unquote areas in the Kingdom of Meda as well, the capital itself. And they do have a very specific mode of cultural dress. And that tends to stay with the current generation. If they live within Orem proper, they'll adopt Orem dress. But if they live within Meda or they live within any of the kingdom lands, they'll maintain their cultural dress. Dai does not have any tattoos, obviously, so she's probably not a warrior. And nothing
she
about
doesn't.
nothing about her dress really indicates to you that it's not really foreign. It's not really even Orem based.
And
Orems tend to use a lot of reds and a lot of golds and silvers in their dress, and she dresses extremely plainly. She would be far more at home in Lorehold than in Orem.
and if she and assuming that the Paragon Mountain tribe culture didn't allow questions, which I feel like I would know. Which, by the way, do they? Do they have some cultural thing about questions?
Not to your knowledge.
Okay, so not to my knowledge.
Not to
And
general knowledge. That is not a general thing that is known about the
okay.
Paragon tribe. No.
But if she maintained her culture enough to be offended by questions, she probably would also maintain that cultural dress.
Probably.
Okay. I'm gonna give her a look as I take the stew. I thank her first. Give her a look. A little bit scrutinizing. Lily doesn't really know how scrutinizing stares can make people uncomfortable. And I'm gonna say, would you mind? I'd like to take a bit of a break from working. Would you mind terribly if we talked for just a bit?
And looks at you and your table, the body on the bed, Kern in the corner. I suppose.
Nothing invasive in terms of questions, but I did want to uh, clear something up for myself. Xylund said that you were from the Paragon Mountains and were very much offended by inquisitive questions.
Yeah, that's a lie.
I thought so. I'm assuming it has something to do with Xylund not wanting us to know something. So I won't pry. But I do like knowing the truth of matters, and so when someone lies to me, I would like to know the
Oh, I wouldn't judge him too harshly for it. I'm
Oh,
sure
I
he was
don't.
just trying to protect my past, and he's a
Oh, no,
very
and I don't
cautious
need
person, and
I
all
don't
that.
need to know anything about your past. You've been very kind, and I won't repay that by intruding. And I don't hold it against Island. It's who he is. Um, it's not
Yeah,
my business.
he's definitely silent.
It's not my
Side
business.
wing. Side wing? Hmm.
Eh, he changes it on a whim. Last time it was Shrillsteel, then
Trust-
Scythewing, something about pupating. I stopped listening when he started rambling. But thank you again. Uh, it can't have been. It must have been very confusing to have several people stinking and covered in shit appearing and suddenly requesting all these things.
I've served soldiers most of my life. I'm quite used to it. At least you aren't also swearing and drinking.
I
But-
try to avoid drinking. Loss of control is something I'm very much against. But how are things in Karokt? Outside in
are-
Greylock, everything's very tense at the moment.
Well, it's quiet. Disturbingly quiet. Everyone's left except me, because I have nowhere else to go, effectively. Her Grace is not well and is getting worse by the day.
Mm.
I tried to tell Xylund that, but I don't think he wants to hear it.
Well, Xylund is very good about firmly believing things he wants to believe and disbelieving things he would rather not.
True.
But we're hoping, well, the woman there, Kat, she is a woman of very particular talents and is very close to her Grace. So
Well,
she's
she
sort of
looks very close to death, if you don't mind my saying.
oh no, please don't feel the need to obfuscate. Bluntness is very much preferred with me. I'm afraid I won't pick up on your meaning if you want. But hopefully we can help her. And she's both our last hope for helping Nisali, and she helps make things run more smoothly for us in terms of direction. So that's why I'm foregoing my desperately needed bath to hopefully make sure she stays alive long enough for us to get her some help. I will say, especially as dire and as tense as things are outside, your situation also seems somewhat dire in light of it. As much as I distrust the things that come out of Xylund's mouth, he is a very loyal friend. And clearly, if he's going to such lengths to protect you and your identity, you're someone very important to him as well. So, if you need anything,
Oh no, we're well taken care of. You have your supper. She nods at Kern. Enjoy it. I will be here if you ring the bell. I'm in the servants' quarters with Her Grace. But I should be getting back before my little one decides to wander away too far.
of course, just if things do get worse and you feel like you have nowhere to go, but you need to get out, please reach out. We will help.
And looks at Cat. Okay. And scurries out the door, shutting it behind her. So, Lana and Davynn, what are you guys up to now that you've got your stew? Hmm?
Is it just me, or does this guy, the body double, do you think that maybe he's not loyal?
I'm not sure if he's loyal by choice. Like, I'm starting to wonder if they have, like, death tattoos on them all, you know? Go against the
Yeah.
cause, get Zed.
Okay, would it be weird if I looked at his tattoos while he's unconscious?
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna do that then.
All right, Davynn. Checking out the man's tattoos. What are we looking for?
I just want to like get an idea of what the tattoos are of, and then also maybe like some kind of arcana stuff to get an idea of if I recognize a pattern of death tattoo, whatever that
Okay.
is.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your arcana.
Oh, I didn't do good.
Well.
Hey Lana, do you want to come stare at this guy's tattoos with me?
Yeah, sure.
All right. The tattoos themselves are actually how do I say this? They're very picture oriented. They tend to be continuous, like full sleeve, or like highlight the collarbone. He's got some along the hairline. They are very ritualistic in their placement, but the actual like makeup of the tattoos tend to be incredibly artistic. So they're not just for like glyphs or anything like that. There's actually an underlying picture with them and some writing that you don't quite recognize. And that part of it is actually quite beautiful. It's very, like I said, it's very artistic. Something Davynn would certainly enjoy. But on top of that, between the two of you staring at it over your stew, it looks like in some places, particularly the ones at the wrists and the hairline and the collarbone, those older tattoos, those more picture-based tattoos, have been overwritten by more glyph-based tattoos, and they're very non-specific symbols of protection. It's difficult to tell exactly what spells are being used. Your Arcana training doesn't go quite that far, but you can definitely at least tell that these are glyphs and they're not part of the original tattooing process. These are something that have been overlaid and worked into the design.
So we've definitely had detect magic up while looking at this guy before
Mm-hmm.
and not seen anything.
Mm-mm.
I feel like maybe this is non-magical tattoos because Orem doesn't like magic. But then again, they were using this guy, so
Yeah. Under illusion magic,
yeah.
which they hate.
And I'm pretty sure that was him doing the spell, right?
I think so. He looks like a wizard.
Can we
does
try to
look
wake him
like
up?
it. Sure.
Yeah, we'll try to wake him up then.
All
I'm
right.
gonna pull the dead barbarian off him.
Just roll the dead
That seems
barbarian.
reasonable,
over.
yeah.
Roll the dead barbarian up. And shake this dude. Who does come awake. You're in a bath. You don't get a vote. Who does come awake abruptly and is in total freak out mode. In absolute freak out mode. Starts flailing his arms.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, we're friends. We're friends. I'm not casting the spell.
You can't. Hildreth is there,
Yeah, Hildreth is
so you didn't have to detect magic up either.
dampening you all.
We could step out into the corridor, I'm sure.
Yeah, he could. Absolutely.
And we have had it before.
Yes, you did have detect magic up before when you were looking at him, and it didn't trigger anything.
Hmm.
So yeah, this dude is up. He's freaking out. He's stammering. He's coughing. He's having a moment. He's trying to scramble up the wall as best he can.
No, calm down, calm down.
Can I,
Breath
like-
in, hold for 5, breath out.
He pants. Who are you? Where am I? What is going on?
Let's see. I'm Davynn from Whitfeld. That's Lana. You are currently in Castle Karocht, Davynn says after thinking about whether or not he should say that. And what was the third question?
I'm why am why am I in the castle?
Ah, right. You're here because you were acting as a body double for a person called the Butcher, and we took you because we would like to ask you some questions.
No more questions, please. No more questions. He starts to cry.
Lana, I think he might be from the culture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Listen, we're not going to hurt you here. We just want to know some things because we're trying to protect some folks, and I don't really know what your situation is, but I didn't even know that they had mages in Orum's camp.
Violent.
There's a shoulder version, like a shoulder Xylund on my shoulder.
Yeah,
That's the
we
devil.
might hurt you. This dude is just sobbing hysterically. I've never been to. I don't think I've been to the camp. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where they took me initially. Just please don't hurt me and don't ask me anything.
Oh, okay, we won't ask you anything, and we won't hurt you. Damn it, we're back here. I would like to know what you experienced. So that we can help you.
How can you help? What can you do?
I'm gonna ask you another question. I'm sorry. Where are you from?
Nowhere. I'm from nowhere. I'm from nowhere.
Right. Well, I'm not only from Whitfeld. I'm also from Greylock. We are known as the heroes of Greylock, and we are trying to get Orum out off of our continent because they're invading us. And it sounds like you had a bad run-in with them, and I think that maybe we might be able to help each other here.
He covers his eyes. He's basically gone into the fetal position, sitting up. You can't help me. You're not the heroes. It's all a lie. It's just another lie. You're gonna hurt me. I know you're gonna hurt me.
Do you want some stew?
No!
I ate half of it in case you're worried about it being a lie. It is good stew.
Everything's a lie. Nothing is true. Nothing they show you is true. You can't trust anything they do.
Hey, Lana, do you have like a way of calming him down? Yeah.
I can check. The answer to that is no, unless he qualifies as an animal.
He's not an animal, unfortunately. He is a person.
Then the answer is no.
Turn him into an animal.
I mean, yes,
Oh boy. Okay.
but no. Okay, so
I think we gotta like give this guy
we're playing some
time to
pronoun
come to
game
his
here.
senses.
Who's they?
Hey,
Do you want-
all of you, you're not real, you're not real. And then he's
Do you
just,
want an Ativan?
he needs one. He's having a moment.
Actually, I have a solution to this. I'm gonna go run and find Xylund's bath.
Okay, well, it's easy
You're
to
gonna go-
find.
You're gonna go get the guy who might torture him.
Since most of the doors are shut and locked, it's pretty easy to identify Xylund's, considering the door is slightly busted.
And then I'll be like, hey Xylund, real quick, so I'm kind of stressing out a bit. Do you have any blood moss on you?
Pretty sure I smoked it all.
Alright, do you have anything else that might help me chill out?
Yeah, I got vodka. I've always got vodka, or as you call it, potato ale.
Oh, well, that's not really a chill out thing. Okay, it's whatever. I'll go find Lily.
Wait. I got something. Hang on. Let me
Okay.
look through my shit. Sound of rummaging from inside. I have spiced tobacco. I'm not sure if that'll do the trick. I've got this silver tea. That should work.
Sweet. There we go. I'll grab that and I'll run back in.
I have a vial of blue goo. I don't know
Not
what
bad.
it does.
I don't want it. Thank you. And then I'll go up to the guy and just be like, here, drink some of this. I promise it'll make you feel better.
No, 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 no,
You need to drink something eventually.
no, no. It's all
Alright.
trick. It's
Valium,
all
you'll feel
lie.
better.
What was that, Lana?
It's Valium, you'll feel better. Also, if it's all a lie, it doesn't really matter if you drink it or don't, then does it? You can be calm and terrified and in a lie nightmare, or you can be not calm and still in the same situation. So just drink the tea and you'll feel better.
He seems to be considering this for a moment. His hand's still shaking. And he'll gulp down the tea quickly. And then he just closes his eyes, covers his face. He's shaking.
So, I did not ask Xylund exactly what it does, but I assume.
He's gonna trip.
Okay.
Like it's a calm trip, like sort of like dreaming, but you're awake. It's a good drug.
All right.
That's really not going to help him
The
believe
problem is he was
anything's real.
panicking to begin with, though, so like, you know, it might not go great.
Well, maybe he can help, tell us more about what he's experienced or something. Like, we'll just have to get through what's the dream part.
You might think you're like a really large talking butterfly.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
You guys are really not helping him with the whole believing anything's real
It's
thing.
fine, Lily.
That wasn't Lily. Lily's not there.
No, Lily's doing
Get off
experiments.
his shoulder, Lily.
After a little while, his breathing does seem to calm a little bit. He's still covering his face and is in his little fetal position against the wall. He won't look at you. But the shaking seems to have subsided a little. He's breathing normally.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling?
I'm scared.
And what are you scared about?
You... I don't want to be hurt again.
Can you tell us why you think we're going to hurt you?
Because you're them. I can't trust them. I can't trust you.
Why do you think you can't?
Because you can look like anybody and you're just gonna hurt me again. You put these on me. He shakes the shackles.
I'm gonna look over at Lana and just mouth glamored.
Do you think we've hurt you before?
Yes. These
Before
hurt me
the
before.
sewers.
He pulls on the shackles. These hurt.
I know, but we think they're keeping you safe right now. They make it so other magic can't hurt you.
You don't need magic to hurt me. You didn't need magic before.
We're not going to hurt you. We're keeping you safe from anyone else. We're just here to sit and talk, okay?
No talk. No talk. No answers. You can't know, because if you know, then everything will go bad. You look like anyone. You can do anything, and I don't want to be hurt anymore.
We're not going to hurt you. We're just sitting here and we're just talking, okay?
Let me go.
We'll let you go, okay? We're not going to hurt you.
Let me go.
We have to talk, but we're not
I
going to
can't
hurt you.
talk.
Even if you
Can't
don't end
talk.
up telling us anything, we're not going to
You
hurt
can't know. You can't know. You can't know
you. Know about anything?
anything. I didn't tell
About
before.
the
I'm not
poison?
going to tell now. I'm not going to tell.
We know
Can't.
about the poison.
Of course you do. That's a trick. That's a trick, and I'm not stupid.
We know they're going to poison the water. Is that what you didn't want to tell us?
Of course you know that. Of course you know that. You can't trick me anymore. I won't tell you. I didn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You should
Do you
let
want
me
some
go.
food now?
No. I just want to go. Kill me or let me go.
Where are you gonna go if we let you go?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Do you
I'm
think
not
you can go
going
home?
to tell you. I don't have a home. There is no home. There is no home. There's no home. I won't think about it. There is no home. You can't see. There is no home. Let me go. Now he's pulling at the shackles and he's starting to get pissed. He is, yeah. He is a mess.
Wow, we even gave him mushrooms and he's still.
Yeah. I feel
Hildreth,
if
can
we
you
let
step
him
back
go-
like 2 feet?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Hildreth. Are you in any pain right now?
You don't care.
I care a lot.
Won't
Are you
work.
hurting? Do you have wounds still?
Shakes his head. Can't trick me. Can't trick me. Won't work. You think I'm
I'm gonna try to heal you up now, okay?
okay?
You might feel a tingle.
So you heal your captive, and some of his wounds, like the ones you guys gave him, do mend. But there are others. There are other very pronounced. They look like burns. Some are on his wrist, and you can, as he's pulling on the shackles, you can see just underneath them there are fairly sizable burns that go all the way around his wrist, kind of mulberry colored, and then on his uh, neck, about where his collarbone is, there are 2 sets of bars, almost like a torque had been sitting there, or a neck shackle that didn't go all the way around. And as his robe sort of shuffles as he pulls up against the wall, he's got the same color and depth of sort of discoloration that looks like it's been burned on the edge where the skin's trying to heal itself, but the healing spell does not take care of those. Those appear to be there.
Yeesh!
Let me see.
Okay. Alright. Davynn, are you seeing these?
I am, and I don't know what they mean.
Did they do this to you?
Laughs and starts to gently bang his head against the wall.
No. Pull him away from the wall a little bit.
He curls up on the floor.
You can't tell us anything because they'll hurt you. And you're worried they're going to hurt you again.
You'll hurt me.
They're not going to hurt you. But we're scared of them too. We know. We understand.
It's all tricks. It's all tricks.
Genuinely, do we have blood moss for this man? He needs it.
I can go ask Lily if she has any, or can make
I'm
something.
gonna... We don't know what this... Did we determine if there was magic in the tattoos and we just couldn't understand what it was?
The tattoos, the glyphs that were overwritten, do appear to have some magical significance. What they are, you two
Well,
aren't enough to figure it out.
when
At
in doubt,
least you
break
couldn't
it.
do it. At least holding there's something I should know.
We could
Okay.
bring Lily in here and ask her.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I was just gonna dispel it and see what happened.
No, okay. I'm gonna bring Lily first.
Well, the tattoos are on the barbarian. That is what we're talking about,
Oh.
right? Yeah.
Oh.
Those tattoos are on the barbarian. Our unconscious guy here doesn't have any tattoos. He just has the
Gotcha.
burns.
He's
Yeah,
just
he has no
psychologically
tattoos.
traumatized. And we
He's
were gonna do more to
having
him.
he's having a bad one. He's struggling with something. he doesn't have any tattoos, and he doesn't seem to have any magical effects that you can ascertain. The only thing that pings on him that is magic is the shackles that you put on him.
So he's like a level 2 wizard that got tortured, and now we're torturing him more. I feel bad.
I don't know if we're torturing him exactly.
We
but...
tried to put a corpse on him.
Well, that was Xylund. I don't speak for Xylund when I say us. Okay, well, Lana, do you think we could just take those off of him?
If we let him go, he's just going to run right back to them, and then they're going to kill
Well,
him.
we don't have to let him go. We, at least...
You're right. Yeah, we can get these off him.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
So I'll reach out to take off the dimensional shackles, if he'll let me.
Yeah, he'll let you. He's fairly passive at the moment. He's just curled up in a ball on the floor.
Jesus.
Yeah. He'll let you take the shackles off. Then he'll immediately tuck his arms underneath his armpits. You can't see them anymore.
Roll your wrist. Full range of motion. It'll help you get circulation back in your fingers. We also need to assess the skin and circulation for 1 hour and get the order for restraint suppression in 24 hours by the physician, or else it becomes illegal confinement.
You don't have a physician. What are you gonna do? Lana's prepared.
Lana's apparently been doing medical studies on top of being a bard.
Well, he's not under 16, so you're all right there. Yep, all training's coming back. This is just her
fugue state where Lana just stopped and recited every single fact about that.
This is her patron whispering to her from the portrait, teaching her the ways.
Yes, because I was about to say, I don't think bards get medical training generally.
I don't know.
Psychological
if I would
training, maybe.
Yeah.
But not I could see Lana being trained as a psychologist, but not as a medical professional.
I mean, this is just me regurgitating my mental health nursing class.
Yes. Which might come in handy today.
Oh gosh, my heart is breaking for this.
Can you watch him and make sure he doesn't hurt himself or something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, just let me know if you want me to grab you more stew or something.
Can you bring a bowl for him? We'll just leave it in case he wants it.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'll go grab Lily and ask her if she's holding.
Okay. Lily, are you holding?
Not something like blood moss, but I definitely have an alchemy kit, and I can probably whip up. There are a lot of herbs and plants that, when lit on fire in an incense manner, can provide calming and soothing effects. I can also make a mean tea that does the same thing, or just a straight up sedative. I can do a lot, because I'm a walking apothecary. But no, it's got to be drugs.
Okay, well,
make some Valium.
Yes, make fantasy Valium.
He clearly needs a benzo. Holy cow.
Before I leave with them, though, can we cover what I would have already done for Kat, just so I'm not leaving somebody who might possibly be coming closer to death?
Okay. What have you been doing with Kat?
So, the first thing I did, and Current has a decent medicine score, right?
Yeah, medicine's based in wisdom, so yeah.
Okay, so with Current's help, since he's there, even if he can't cast magic while I'm, in the area, I want to try and see if any of her symptoms might be causing her condition to worsen.
Well, I mean, what symptoms? She's catatonic.
Is there anything else? Anything that might be reducing her ability to breathe? Anything that might be potential
Give me her full vital stat, Erie.
Sorry.
Non-stable heartbeat. Maybe extremities going colder, so she might be going into shock. Some kind of thing. you know, just like some of the basic stuff, like, will she be fine if I let her sit for a while now that we've removed her from the environment, or is her condition going to deteriorate and she possibly expires if we don't do anything now?
That's kind of the crux of it, is you don't know what's causing her to shut down. She's not, I mean, her heartbeat is slow from what you can hear. Her pulse is very thready. Her breathing is very shallow, which you all saw before when you visited her and she was still awake enough to talk. At this point, she's not awake enough to talk. Her body is slowly shutting down. As to how long she has, you don't really know because you don't honestly know what's wrong with her. There's no exterior wounds. Again, kind of the same thing as with the barbarian. There's no exterior indication of poison. There's no discoloration of the skin. There's not even really obvious injection sites or anything like that would give you an idea. You're not sure what they've been doing to her, so you're not sure how to counteract it.
Okay.
So she is shutting down, but you're not sure what the time frame is.
Okay. I'm going to. I don't have my full alchemy lab, so I don't know if you'll let this happen. But I kind of want to take like you know, like a vial of blood so that I can test it for like toxins, basically. Basically like yield version of it, where you add a bit of blood to a solution, and if it turns a different color, there's something present, kind of thing.
Well,
And
you can try. What you have isn't very
yeah,
isn't
I
a
got
full kit. You've got sort of the
I got my
cast off.
I got my field kit, and I can't summon my lab because I can't do freaking magic.
Right. And what Lana gave you was, like I said, kind of the odds and ends of an alchemy kit. So it's some beakers and it's some vials and it's some like stationary equipment, but it's not enough for a lab.
Well, and I do have my field kit as well, that if that
Right.
can help at all. But I'll take it at least 5 feet away so that Kern can also do his detect magic, and possibly if he wants to try something like greater restoration, or if he wants to, you know, do his own poking about with his cleric training, see if he can identify anything or fix something. We're gonna try some teamwork here.
Okay.
And if I can't get anything from the blood samples, then I'm going to let's see, for someone who has a weak heartbeat and shallow breathing, what would you do for that? Not something to improve circulation, but
I like no suggestion.
electrolyte panel?
Yeah.
Is that something that you could feasibly do with
No.
No.
No, like, cuz
No.
like
You definitely couldn't.
No.
I'm like, so what kind of plant-based medications could you do to help
You have a
with the symptoms?
bronchodilator?
See,
We're
but
not
that's
talking machinery.
that's kind of the
machinery.
kind of the crux of the matter, is that yes, you're a walking apothecary and you've got a good understanding of natural medicines especially, but you don't know what's wrong with her, so you can't really
Yeah.
treat her effectively because you're not a doctor, you're a pharmacist, and you're not
Basically,
sure
yeah.
what to prescribe to her because you don't know exactly what's causing her condition.
Yeah, so I'll let Kern take over that. If I get nothing
Sure.
back if I get nothing with the blood sample, which I'm willing to roll a check at disadvantage since I don't have all the
Yeah,
tools
you'd
I
have
need.
to. Yeah.
So alchemist tools at disadvantage.
Yes. Okay.
Shit.
So you're able to take the samples and sort of run with them the best you can, but it's not conclusive. Whatever whatever toxins are in her blood are current. I mean, they're clearly there. Like her blood is certainly affected. It's not normal, but you're not entirely sure what it is. You would have to you would have to have more study, honestly.
Okay.
Um,
And in an actual lab as well.
yeah, you would have to have better equipment.
At the very least, if Kern doesn't get any, so actually no, if there's toxins in her blood, Kern should be able to help with a greater
He should be able to
restoration.
help with restoration should work
Uh huh.
because he doesn't have to know what that is. He just has to pray.
Yeah, and if it's a poison, then
We
we
can
should
remove it.
even if we can't completely cure her, we could probably at least improve her condition,
Right.
which is really the only thing we're going for at the moment. Just remove the danger of expiration. Okay, so once I tell him that, I think that's enough to go on for the moment. I am going to keep whatever any blood that I didn't actually use, I am going to keep for further study when I can actually summon my lab.
Okay.
And I'm going to do my best to identify in the time remaining before Davynn gets me, I'm going to do my best to identify whatever poison is on the bolt that causes the nullification, magic nullification, or whatever. Is it a chemical on the bolt?
Nope.
That causes. It's just the bolt has something with it.
It's a magical trap. The head of the bolt is a magical trap. When it comes into contact with a solid surface, be it a person or an object, the metal tip becomes the trigger and it releases.
Okay. Can I determine whether or not it's a mechanism?
Yeah.
Or like something runic, or if it's the metal itself?
Oh, it's a little bit of both. The spell is etched into the metal of the bolt head, but what causes it to release and force it to break apart is mechanical. So you could either dispel it, or you could cause the mechanism to fail. Either way would disable it.
Okay. Can I identify the etched spell? So
It's just
you
an
said this.
anti-magic zone.
Okay.
It's just an anti-magic zone set to a glyph.
And so the reason why we can't get rid of it is because the metal fragments remain inside.
Because the spell hasn't. The spell will continue through its duration, right? So
Okay.
yeah, it's attached to you because that's what it hit, and so until the spell subsides, you're kind of boned.
And since I don't have anti-magic zone, the spell, I don't know necessarily the duration. Can I get that from the spell etching?
No, because it's just a spell in and of itself. It's not even really altered all that much.
Well, what I meant is if it's the spell itself, since I don't have it in my spell book, I don't necessarily know the details. So would I be able to get those details from the spell?
No.
With my arcanic knowledge. Okay.
Nope. Because
so I know
you know what spell it is, or at least you know the effects of it, but that's all it will tell you.
So I know that it has a duration, and that the only way for it to go away is for that duration to expire.
For it to go away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll hope that at the very least, after a nap, I'll have my magic back, and I think that's everything that I could accomplish. Did the Greater Restoration help at all?
Well, you can do that when you leave with Davynn.
Okay.
Yeah, and give Kat a chance to respond. So Davynn can come collect Lily if you'd like, sir.
Lily, we need drugs.
Okay. What do you need?
I'm not
milligrams
sure.
Q2 hours.
Ilana's been doing this thing where she's just reciting nonsense words. I don't understand it, but I think she'll be able to tell you.
All right. Well, I've done everything I can, and Kun can take it from here. So, do you need me to come with you?
That would be wonderful. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to carry my cold stew because I forgot to eat. And Lily will eat her cold stew as she walks.
All right. So now you can meet the traumatized mage curled up on the floor.
Yeah. On our way, she'll ask Davynn, so what can you tell me about the situation? A bit more coherently, please, than panicked babbling.
The guy that we've got, the mage, appears to have been just like psychologically tortured. He is freaking out. We gave him some silver tea. It didn't really help that much. It helped a little bit, but we really just need something to help calm him down because I think we could get some information out of him. And also, he's such a sad person.
Okay, I'm surprised Lana wasn't able to help. Her bard training at Merryford is quite comprehensive when it comes to dealing with people. Even I think there was a section on troubled people too, if I remember what she was telling me correctly.
Yeah, she said that she couldn't do it today or something.
Huh. All right. Well. Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do, and we'll
Okay.
go meet
So
Mr. Trauma
go meet Mr. Trauma on the floor.
on the
Having a
trauma
rough
floor.
one. Yeah, he's on the floor.
Would you say he was on the trauma floor?
No.
Aw.
No, he'd
Okay.
probably be psychier.
Oh yeah. He's having a moment. Lesser of a moment, but he's gone from hysterical to quiet.
Is he still conscious in the fetal
Oh, yeah.
position on the floor?
Yep, he's conscious.
Okay.
Talking to himself very quietly.
Okay. Before I approach, I'm just gonna kind of crouch down. I assume by this point Davynn would have told me about the burns and stuff. Did the
Yep.
burns look super fresh and recent? Like maybe the shackles could have been what was causing them, or did they look somewhat
Well,
old?
you can't see his wrists because they're
Oh.
tucked into his armpits. You can see his throat, which has similar burns.
Mhm.
Those look a little older. They look like the skin is trying to, like, cover it. That looks like it's trying to heal.
Okay, well, for starters, with what I have in my bag, I can make a burn soothing cream.
Oh.
That will help those burns feel better and prevent infection. As for calming him down, you said you got him to actually drink something?
Yeah, silver tea.
Silver tea. What do I know about silver tea? Like
Silver tea's a
specific
weed.
effects?
It has some sedative properties, but it's not super strong. It definitely wouldn't be considered a narcotic or anything like that. It's akin to like having echinacea or peppermint tea, except a little stronger.
Can we
It,
get us some narcotics?
it's only considered an illicit substance because it can be combined with other things.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's a fairly decent sedative.
Okay. So, for options, I'm going to throw a few things that I would like to make, and Erie, you can just tell me if what I have would be good enough to make it, right?
Okay.
I'd like to make something that would, since it's a, I feel like silver tea would probably be about as strong as a sedative as I could make without actually knocking him out. If I'm not misunderstanding what you were saying about it.
Yeah, like I said, the danger with silver tea is that it mixes very readily with other herbs. So if you gave him
Mhm.
another sedative, it would very much knock him out.
So what I want to do is I want to make something that will essentially almost like a medically induced coma, but not fully, like just give him dreamless sleep.
Well,
And
any sedative you do will do that. Like,
Okay,
mixed with silver tea, it will knock him out.
Okay, can I make something that would be effective in gaseous form, like if I, like an incense type thing,
Sure.
so that he wouldn't have to actually drink it and freak out again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let them, and then the second thing is, do I have the supplies to make, kind of like aloe vera mixed with a few other things to soothe the burns around his wrist and neck, and also help prevent infection, because burns can get infected super easily, especially if they're
Yeah.
not treated.
You have the supplies that you could make something mild like that, but the burns on his throat don't look natural. You're not sure if just like an aloe vera cream or anything like that is really going to help. They don't look like a stove burn, you know. They don't look like any burn you've ever seen, really.
Okay.
The coloration is very different.
Would knowledge of Arcana apply to seeing the results of something unnatural and possibly
Yeah.
backtracking to its original spell?
Yeah, Arcana would help you here. A high Arcana would
Okay.
help you here.
So I'll go ahead and make the incense. Since we haven't taken any sedative, it should, at the very most, basically
It just chill you out.
chill
Yeah.
us out, and then it should send him to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make that, kind of light it on fire, have the smoke start going through the room, wait for him to go to sleep, and then I'll use that opportunity to get closer without triggering him, and see if I can backtrack the effects to a spell.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll your Arcana. All right. There are some metals that react negatively with magical energies. And sometimes they're used to suppress them, sometimes they are just bad mojo. They're like magnesium in water.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a particular strain of metals where if you apply it to the skin of a magically active creature, will cause burns like that.
Okay. So for spellcasters, would that be just innately magical people like sorcerers, or would that also apply to like wizards?
It's any creature, be it person or, you know, beastie, monster, whatever, an aberration, any creature that can channel magic, whether naturally or through study, including innate abilities, would have some level of effect depending on the concentration of the metal, how it was smelted, etc., etc., etc. Like there's a whole school of metallurgy devoted to these types of metals, because there are several different kinds. They are not. They're certainly not globally available. They appear in very specific concentrations in very specific types of rock formations. During the Cataclysm, that got shifted around a little bit, and those metals were a little more widespread. Loreholt ran into some of it, but of course, Loreholt doesn't care, so it basically sold its supply. Paragon Mountains, chock full of it.
That's probably why Orem settled in that area.
Well, Orem was there before, but Orem has always been a metallurgic nation. They're known for their military. They're known for their mining. So yeah, it was not a stretch for them to, you know, basically fight over and conquer over these new deposits. And they have been known to use these types of metals in anything they can get away with. Their swords, their armor, that bolt.
Yeah,
There's
I
a good
figured.
chance that it could have been made from that kind of metal. And of course, as they are in the habit of tracking down and imprisoning and otherwise utilizing magical creatures, it would not be a surprise that they would use those things in cages or manacles or other forms of prison.
So for these burns, I imagine it being Orem, they're going to use the alloys of these metals that cause the more severe burns.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy looks like he might have been fitted with a collar of the stuff.
So I know you said that just from a glance that the fact that these burns are unnatural, I don't know whether or not like burn paste would help with more in-depth with the
Yeah,
in-depth examination.
with this kind of burn, it's more magical damage than natural damage. So just a burn pace is not going to help. The body is either going to have to recover naturally, or it's going to need a more magical remedy, like a restoration.
Okay. Or if I had access to magic, I could do the magical side of alchemy and potentially make something.
Potentially. Yeah. But yeah, this guy, it was, yeah.
Okay. I can't make a burn paste that'll help the burns, but could I make a numbing agent or a pain reliever that could be taken orally, or something that could help reduce the pain at least?
Not for this. That's why they use it. It reacts to the magic in the blood.
Okay,
It
so
reacts to, yeah, it's just, it entwines itself naturally to the person, which is why it's so effective.
So they're just utter bastards.
Yeah, until he heals naturally, he's gonna feel it.
Okay. I will communicate the Cliff Notes version of that to Davynn and Lana, basically saying that until I get access to magic or until Kern comes and does a restoration, which he's currently doing one on Cat, so I don't know if he has the spell slots to do another. We can't do anything about.
He's drowning in spell slots.
Yeah.
Okay, so unless Kern does a restoration, or unless I get access back to my magic so I can do magical alchemy, we can't do anything about those burns.
Okay, I actually lied. He has no spell slots. Kern, what the fuck did you do?
Well, he cast a
He did
lot
it.
of spells in that battle.
He
He hasn't
did.
rested yet.
He did a lot, but isn't Greater Restoration also a ritual? Can't he do ritual casting?
I'm
It
looking
is
for-
not a ritual.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, he doesn't even have it prepared.
Wow.
So how's he get? Is he gonna be able to
Oh,
do
you
that
know
on
what
Cat
he
at
does
all?
have prepared, though?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I'm trying to put it in chat. It's not loading.
Yeah, but I'm more worried about, like, this guy we can take our time with. He's not in danger of dying. I'm more worried about how is he going to help Cat if he can't do a restoration.
Yeah, unfortunately he can't.
He does it tomorrow morning. And we give her supportive care until then.
Okay, then in that case, he probably would have said that before I left, so
Well, he has other things he can do. He can, I mean, he's got regenerate, he can do heal, he can do aura vitality. Like he can just pray.
so he can still help her.
Yeah,
just
he
can't-
can. He
okay.
can't do greater restoration because he doesn't have it prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, Curtin could use a nap. Everyone could use a nap.
So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to ask Davynn and Lana if they still need me. I'm going to tell them that my recommendation is this guy can wait till tomorrow morning when we're rested and hopefully have access to magic again. That I put him into a dreamless sleep with the incense. I'm going to tell him to keep the incense because they look like they need to chill. And then I'm going to ask if they need anything else, because if not, Kern and I are going to take shifts so that we can sleep and also make sure Cat doesn't die overnight.
You basically, yes. Lana is
Oh,
getting high, having
before-
stew, and taking a snooze.
but before that, I'm going to take the opportunity to get a bath, and then I'm going to go relieve Kern so that he can get a bath, and then we're going to take shifts and sleep if they don't need anything else from me. That's not the same! That does not provide the soothing effects of a hot, steamy herbal bath.
That's what the weed is for.
I
That's
have.
true.
Yeah, but I'm leaving that for you guys.
So is the consensus that you all are going to have baths and naps?
Apparently.
I
Okay.
think so.
And Kern
Okay.
and I are taking turns making sure Cat doesn't die.
Okay. Xylund, you've had your bath.
Yeah.
And presumably stew.
Had one bath,
Fine.
yes.
But what about second bath?
I will have a sleep after that, I guess. Check in on,
Take your nap.
check in on Kat, make sure she's not dead, and then have a sleep. I probably won't sleep for long though, so if I wake up before the others, I got something I want to do.
Okay, I imagine you would, because you don't sleep a whole lot.
No.
So everyone else can have their baths and their snoozes. So what is it that you would like to do?
I would like to sneak out into the city and get some blood moss because Davynn's question made me realize I don't have any.
Davynn drew your attention to the fact that your drug stocks are low.
Yeah.
All right, you know you're famous, right?
Well, I've got a cloak.
Okay.
Actually, hang on. I will maybe do some spell prepping or swapping around during
After
my
your
rest.
nap. Okay.
Where is this? Can I disguise myself with this?
Alter self, yeah.
You
You
decided
can
to look like
transform
an
your
idiot.
appearance. Yeah.
Okay. I just will. Okay, it's already prepped. Yeah, so on my drug excursion, I will transform myself into Limpy the mule.
Okay. Right, you can be Limpy the Mule on your drug excursion. Gosh, I guess an investigation.
Okay. I will, Yeah, what time of day is it when I go out anyway?
Well, I mean, it's gonna definitely be nighttime. You guys fought. Now
Okay.
you had nap and bath and sandwiches and
I know
traumatized
Greylock
the man on the floor. And
pretty
yeah,
well.
yes, you know Greylock very well. So it's mostly just finding somebody, you know, pretty much where to look. It's just a matter of locating the right location in order to get your blood moss. So you can find some shady back room somewhere. How much do you want to spend?
Well, I don't want to run out again very soon. How
well,
long does this good stuff stay good?
Blood moss? I mean, it's a kind of a dried plant, so
Okay, well, I will. How much would, let's say, 10 gold get me?
holy crap. 10 gold worth of blood moss?
Yeah.
You would buy that man out. He would retire forever. But I mean, you would get easily several months supply of blood moss, like literally everything this man has.
Okay, well, I will make several stops until I have spent 10 gold on blood moss.
Okay. All right. So you end up with with several large jars full of blood moss in your bag.
Which I will, yeah.
And the local drug economy is thrown way off kilter.
Heroes of
Hero.
I can't even say it.
Still Heroes of Greylock. Xylund made it so that, other people couldn't buy blood moss.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the streets.
Well, yeah.
I think he's a hero because he's made it so that the blood moss economy is going to start booming now.
Yeah.
And that means that they will, decriminalize blood moss sooner.
I don't think we should legalize meth.
Wait, is blood moss meth or is
No.
it weed?
No, it's more like acid,
It's-
I think.
Yeah, it's a little more hallucination.
Like, I don't want to,
based.
like, I'm not saying we should criminalize it, but I don't want to make my fortunes on the meth empire, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not. It's the LSD empire or
Yeah,
the
it's the
shroom
LSD
empire.
empire.
It's
Okay,
the
that's
shroom
fine.
empire.
Carry on.
It's shrooms. Yeah.
Um,
It's more hallucinogenic than anything.
Okay, the last guy I talked to, the last drug dealer,
Mhm.
I'll sort of look at all the blood moss I've got, and I'm like, just in case I smoke all this and find I've developed a resistance, do you have anything stronger?
The blood moss?
Yeah.
Well, I could probably get you something. What'd you have in mind?
I don't know. What do you have?
Well, there's this new product out. It's kind of hard to get a hold of here. It's very popular in Loreholt, from what I understand. It's concentrated mushrooms, but you like drink it. I've never tried it myself. It's expensive though.
How much?
Well, you might have noticed there's a small nation of sword-wielding gentlemen outside the city. So in addition to the cost, there's going to be some significant freight charges.
So you don't have any on hand? You'd have to send out for it as
We
special?
have to order it, yes.
All right. What about brocade? Do you have any of that?
No. It's a little harder than the stuff I usually deal with.
Okay. Do you know anyone who does?
Not particularly. The churches kind of keep an eye on that sort of stuff, you know?
Goddamn churches. All right. This'll do for now then. Thanks.
He's got his blood moss. Anything else you'd like to do while the others are resting up?
I'll fix the front door.
Okay, good.
Well, I will smoke some blood moss first, and then I will
Okay.
fix the front door.
Okay, good.
Front door shaped like a freaking butterfly. Pupating butterfly.
It's fine. Okay, so everyone's rested. You've had your baths. You've had your stew. You've got your spells. What all would you like to do now?
Does Lily have her magic back?
Lily would have her
Oh.
magic back, yes.
What? I have things I want to do, but I will wait my turn.
Okay. Who has something they'd like to do? Yes, you brought the portrait home.
Oh, did you want to go in the portrait?
I think we're okay.
Oh, Kern wants to do greater restoration on Cat.
Okay, Karen will do greater
Yes, good
restoration on
morning.
Cat. Yes, good morning. Okay.
I'm going to prep calm emotions today.
Okay.
Lily's
so-
gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Iris.
Oh, I was just gonna say Kern can do greater restoration on Cat, which will help stabilize her a little bit.
Lily's going to summon her Eldritch Workshop in Cat's room with her with her Workshop Familiar.
Oh, did your
And-
magic stuff wear off? Your anti
Yeah,
Oh,
got
okay.
magic back.
Nice.
And okay, so now that she has access to an actual alchemy workshop, there's two things that she wants to work on. A better analysis of Cat's blood, to see if there's anything else that can be. Well, no, if Curtin purges the toxins, we would need to have something better for diagnosing if there's anything else wrong with her. And I'm not a doctor; I'm a physician, so I'm gonna work on making, if I can and have the supplies, a magical burn paste. Or just work on healing potions, because I realize those would be good things to have.
Okay. You don't really have anything that's going to counter those type of burns, but you can work on your health potions if you'd like.
Yeah. And I think I got,
And that just takes time. You have all the stuff for that.
yeah. And then at some point later on in the day, if we're taking the opportunity to rest up a bit, and nobody needs me for anything, I do want to see if I can find an actual apothecary or herbalist in town that can restock my bag, because I've actually used a lot of supplies lately.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm also famous, I have that
Okay.
for disguising.
And that's easy enough to do. Herbalist shops are everywhere. So it's quite easy, and most of the stuff you're looking for is fairly common. So
And one thing so general restocking, one thing in specific I'm looking for is I want to see if either the herbalist / apothecary, or if there's anything that will sell a better storage bag for. Oh, wait, no, those are going to be more magic items. I don't know if they'll actually be sold. If there's anything better for storing the plants and herbs I gather or buy, store more of, kind of
I
thing.
mean, you can buy additional bags and things, but they're not going to be any larger than the one that you have.
I'll buy one extra bag and I'll ask Lana to put it in the bag of holding until I need it.
I mean, all of it's only going to run you about a gold piece. Herbs are
Okay.
cheap for the most part, and leather bag isn't going to cost you much. They're not
Works
very
for me.
large.
Yeah. And then beyond that, just working on healing potions. I have the dice since you guys, I don't know if you're still wanting to do the new
Mm-hmm.
crafting
Yeah.
stuff, but I do have the crafting. I use 3d6. I have 5 crafting dice. No,
Mhm.
3 crafting dice, 5 stamina. I don't know exactly how that works.
Well, again, for potions are pretty basic. So you would really just need time.
Okay.
Yeah, again, health potions are something you've made quite a few of. So it's not really a question of doing, like mastercraft or anything like that. So you just
Okay.
need enough time to let it go and let it do its thing.
Okay.
Lana and Davynn, anything you guys would like to do now that you're up and about and fed and bathed?
Probably we want to try to calm emotions of that guy.
Okay. So Kern can come help with that. Xylund, did you want to be party to that or no?
Yeah, well, I'll track down Davin once I'm done with the door, and I'll toss him a small packet of blood moss.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
don't need it anymore, but I'll take it.
You never know.
All right. So we've got Kern and Davin, Xylund. Lana, are you party to this?
I think I'm the spellcaster, so yes.
All right.
And Kern can be there for restoration if need be.
What are we doing now? We interrogating?
Soothing and calming is what you guys are doing.
Yes, we are
you-
interrogating. Being realistic, if Xylund's there.
Okay, let's.
Some potential for interrogation.
Xylund, just please don't terrorize him.
No. I'll light up. And just watch.
Just smoke like 3 of those before you come in, okay?
All right. So your new friend is still in the
Poor
fetal
friend.
position,
Okay.
Davin
Did
should
you-
use friends on him.
sleeping.
That'll wear off in a minute, and I don't like that.
Fair enough.
We are going to give him some magical diazepam, though.
Okay, magic. Charisma saving throw. Yeah, no. You rolled a 9. I don't think that's gonna hack it.
Yeah, that's about 9 off what he needed.
Yeah. All right.
Just want to calm him down a little bit. The
But he-
poor guy.
So he kind of groggily sits up, takes in his surroundings, doesn't make any sudden
Morning.
moves. Seems very wary, but he's not flipping out.
Here's another bowl of stew. Your one last night went cold, so we swapped it out.
Kind of
Oh man, I put him to sleep. I should have taken his hot stew.
Yeah, it was just left on the floor.
Wow.
Wait, he wasn't gonna have it. I put him to sleep for a
Wow.
solid 8 hours.
Are you feeling a little better this morning?
Got a very tense look on his face as he pushes himself up against the wall again. You're still here.
We are. I'm going to keep a nice healthy distance while still facing towards him and being non-threatening.
There are more of you now.
And go away.
Hmm?
Well, Kern's here too.
Oh, wow. Oh, we're bringing the whole party in.
Yeah,
It's all
there's
of us. Yep.
Yeah.
A little late.
Lily's
Yeah.
not there. She's brewing.
All of us minus 1.
What's your name?
looks at you. What's your name?
Xylund.
That's not true.
Silent Friend Maker is my name.
Not true.
I'm
Silent Nice
Lana.
Guy
This
Friend
is
Maker.
Davynn. That's Kern.
Lies. Trying to make me think you're heroes.
What do you think we are actually?
You're part of them, part of the knights. I know you are. I know you are.
What knights?
The Pyre Knights.
No, those are Orm guys. We're Greylock guys. This is
They're
Greylock.
definitely
You're
not
confused.
Not confused. I see
What-
you very clearly.
What's something the Pyre Knights would never do?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about the Pyre Knights out of character.
Basically, Pyre Knights, like the general knowledge of Pyre Knights. Pyre Knights come from Orem, specifically. They are a small, depending on how popular they are in various administrations, either a small or a large part of Orm's military forces. They are specifically anti-magic soldiers. They are the ones who track down mages. They are the ones who are in charge of maintaining them in captivity. They maintain the prisons. They are, the Pyre Knights are sort of the special forces for anti-mage activities. They're highly trained. They are considered to be a step above sort of your average everyday soldier, which is really scary because Orem is a military powerhouse to begin with.
Cool. Terrifying.
Yeah, so you've got an even deadlier version of what is already a deadly soldier. And Orem puts a
Lovely.
lot of its economy into its military. So all of its military is, highly trained, well funded. They have access to, like I said, all kinds of metal and metallurgy and blacksmithing. That's really their primary focus. They're called the Diamond City because they used to deal in gems, but since the Cataclysm, they've shifted more into metals. But yeah, their entire economy is based around metallurgy and blacksmithing. And so, these guys have the best of the best equipment, training. They're well funded. They are career soldiers. This is all that they do. And then the Pyre Knights are those specifically chosen for anti-mage activities and are taught specific tactics and are given specific gear in order to make that happen. So Pyre Knights, if you're a mage, are incredibly scary.
Lana would know about them then.
Yes, you would
Jesus.
you would know what the term meant, even if you weren't sure, even if you've never seen one, or you don't know the ins and outs of how the organization works. You know what the term means, and it's not good. They are not nice people, not known for their compassion in general. Neither is Orem as a whole, but the Pyre Knights in particular are not known for second chances, and if they do take prisoners, it's generally not a good thing.
As far as we know, do Pyre Knights themselves use magic as a weapon, or do they just kill mages?
Pyre Knights, there are rumors. It's kind of like any organization. They don't like mages, but they like mages they can control. So Pyre Knights themselves generally aren't taught magic, and any that naturally have magic, they're just innate. They are kept in the crew, but they're usually kept in a subordinate position. So they're used more as like support troops than necessarily on the front lines, because Orem is paranoid about Pyre Knights turning to side with the mages. So they are kept in the core. There are some Pyre Knights that can use magic. They are rare and they are heavily watched.
So presumably a Pyre Knight who could use magic would probably have some of these neck burns if they were sort of kept as okay.
Probably.
You're
So
thinking the exact same thought.
if we show them that we can do magic and we don't have neck things, then
He
Lana's
does
gonna-
say that they can look like anything, so maybe that includes magic, but it's worth a shot.
Lana will hold out a hand palm up and create the most non-threatening little illusion she can in her hand.
And what would that be? Tell us what that is.
Let's say like a little like sort of what's the word I'm going for here? Like a little sky, like a little weather kind of simulation.
Okay.
Little clouds.
Happy little
Something
clouds.
cute.
Make the cloud look like a little bunny.
And that's a little much.
Kind of peers
are
through his
Like
arms.
you. When we're
Oh,
hiding from them too. Sort of.
don't look like you're hiding.
Well, we're not
No,
hiding.
because-
The
No.
second
We've been-
stage of hiding is fighting back.
Yep. And we've been doing pretty decent at it.
Have you
Why
heard
are
about the
you-
heroes of
Yeah, I
Country?
have, of course. Yeah, everyone has.
Have
We
you
all
heard
know.
about the cool dude who wears the dragon helm? Because that's me, and I'll put on my dragon helm. See?
The heroes? You could just look like them. Why do you have me? You wouldn't keep me.
Well,
Even-
because we're heroes, we wouldn't just toss you out back to Orem if we thought that there was a chance they would hurt you. Also, have you heard about the cool dude with the dragon scales? Because that's me.
He's cautiously optimistic. But you could be them. This could be another trick.
Or the guy with the fabulous hair? Point at Kern.
There's no
Kern.
way you can fake that. That is like irrefutable
can't-
proof.
You can't fake the Kern sparkle,
No,
and he
it's
just
true.
sparkles.
Yeah, toss your hair, Kern. Toss your hair for the
Kern.
man.
It's very sparkly. If you are who you say you are, then what do you want?
We want to get rid of Orem and to protect our city. And we think that maybe you could help us with that because you were in their camp for a bit.
A little bit.
Did you meet the butcher?
No.
So the disguise you were wearing, that wasn't the butcher, it was just some random guy.
I don't know. I didn't cast that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to cast anymore. He starts to cry a little bit.
Well, we got magic people who could teach you. Probably.
It can't. It hurts too much. I can't help here. I never got close enough to him. I failed. I had one job and I failed.
You're close enough to who?
Your butcher.
Wait, why did you need to get close to the butcher?
That was my job.
Who
My
sent
one
you?
job. I can't.
Who is the person who sent you there?
I can't.
Sure you can. I believe in you.
I was just supposed to get information to make a map. Send it back to the others.
Which others?
The ones in the order.
Argent Order?
Yeah.
Wait, you work for the Argent Order?
Yes.
So you're from Greylock?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
So they captured
right.
you and tortured you and turned you?
I didn't mean to turn. It wasn't my fault. I didn't tell him anything. I promise I didn't tell him anything.
It wasn't your fault.
I was just supposed to look. I was just supposed to make a map.
A map of what? The camp?
The butcher's camp.
Does he have his own camp?
It's in the middle. It's in the middle of all the others. I got I got so close. But they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I couldn't get away.
Who were you reporting to in the Argent Order?
I can't.
Was
I
it the
won't.
Blackbird?
I
Is
won't.
Stanley the Blackbird?
Stanley. You know Stanley?
Do you know Stanley?
He's a friend, I think.
Well, for the purposes of this conversation, sure.
You can't know Stanley. Unless you are who you say you are, I guess.
Yeah, he monetized us.
Yeah, against our permission.
Kind of actually like forces a chuckle at that. Drops his hands for a moment. That sounds like Stanley. So you really are who you say you are.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we can get Stanley. I mean, I could if
No,
No, don't do that to him.
he can't know I'm here. He can't know I failed.
Oh. So is he the Blackbird?
Stanley?
Yeah.
I don't think so. That can't be right.
I sincerely hope it's not right.
How do you know the Blackbird?
I don't. We've heard him mentioned before.
He can't know. He can't know I failed.
Who's Stanley or the Blackbird?
Either one.
Do you know the Blackbird?
Not personally.
What do you think will happen if they know?
Oh, kill me.
Why would they kill you?
Because Orem had me, and Orem's been in my head. And I didn't tell him anything, but I don't know what they saw.
We're not going to let them kill you.
Do you mind if I could try to
Hmm?
cast on you? Just something to heal you a little. It might not do anything at all.
Okay.
And I know you said it probably won't work on his burns, but I feel so bad for this kid.
Okay, good.
Just have Kern do a restoration.
I'm doing it because I can do that, and I'm going to upcast it to my
Okay.
highest
damn.
possible slot.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I even have the diamonds. I've been carrying those for a while.
Ooh. Curse reduction. Well, that will help. The burns themselves don't fade. They don't look any different, but he himself seems to be breathing better, and his hands have stopped shaking. He was clearly suffering from some sort of after effects, and those are draining away. Yes. Yeah. And you can watch him too, like he's flexing his fingers and sitting up a little bit straighter.
Has Kern? He has. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kern did greater restoration on Cat before he came down here.
And Lily's
Just
still
to
watching her. When
keep it
she
going.
finishes her when she finishes her first healing potion, she's gonna coax Cat to drink it. You can do that with comatose people. Massage the throat.
Carefully, yes.
So yeah.
You're not there. You can't say anything.
Oh God!
Nurse Lana.
Of course, we're not talking to Lana here. We're talking to Noel.
Yeah, it's Nola's having the freak
I
out.
do not like this image.
It's fine.
That's how you end up on a malpractice trial.
Yeah, in modern medicine, this isn't modern medicine.
She's
You should be
fine.
grateful for we're not using leeches.
Oh God.
Well, because you don't have any.
Yeah.
All
Not
right,
any
so
live ones anyway.
Should have picked
you're
up some leeches.
Your captive seems to be feeling better. So I can go?
Well,
Where would you go?
Away from the city.
Can you get past Orem?
Yes, I can get past them. I know their patrols.
well, actually, I mean, we're trying to, off this butcher that you were sent to investigate. So maybe you could help with that.
You don't have to.
Well,
No, we can. If he wants to go, we can give him a flying horse, and he can go.
I don't know if a flying horse would help me.
Probably not. It was just a thought.
Cat laughs a little bit. We can't all travel as heroes, I can give
Would you want to stay with our people first?
No. I don't want to be near any people. At all. I can give you the information that I have. If you can get it back to somebody who could use it.
That would be more than enough.
I can do that.
I didn't try to torture him. I mean, you mean my psychological torture? That's barely torture.
That's torture.
That's barely torture. It's barely torture. Alright. So he asks for parchment and pen, basically. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Actually, I think my insight is not bad.
Not very good.
I can do it. Then again, I've been trusting Xylund's whole story about questions, so...
Feel free.
You've been trusting Xylund this whole campaign.
I'm very persuasive and charismatic.
Those are both really... Oh,
So that's
of
current
course.
roll.
Oh, I was going to say...
Oh,
It
shit.
doesn't look like a Lana insight to me.
No, Lana's a +5 though.
All this insight. He appears to be... I mean, he appears to be everything that he's presenting. It still doesn't seem to trust you 110%. Yeah, there's nothing about his demeanor that would make you question what he's saying. He doesn't seem to be duplicitous. He seems to be really shaken and kind of broken.
Wow, I can't believe you're going to torture him, Xylund.
I wasn't. I don't know what you're talking about. Can't prove anything.
Yeah, right. So he will make some marks on the paper. But it's just silent. Yeah, he'll make some marks on some parchment. It's probably a cipher. I couldn't think for a second.
Oh,
But
Lily loves those.
He hands it to Lana and explains where the drop is. Which is just, according to his indication, it's some back alley right on the border of the old city and the Warrens, the new city. And it's literally you drop this in a barrel. And that's how you get contact with his contact. But it's the information, all the information that he has, that he was able to get. And now he would really like to go.
So the drop
okay.
is to get contact with his contact in the Argent Order?
Yeah, this is where he's
okay.
supposed to drop his information.
Okay.
So what you do after he leaves, he legitimately does not care. He just does not want to be here anymore.
What kind of information did he give us? Just a map of the camp?
It's written information. Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
map. It's all written information, but it's in cipher.
Do you want to be invisible before you go, kid?
No one will look at me.
I mean, we're gonna fix Greylock, so you might want to stick around for that if this is where you're from.
I'll be back.
I'm giving him 50 gold.
Oh my gosh.
I have
Gold.
2,500.
I'm not from
not
your
for long.
perspective, from his perspective. Like, I know that's nothing for you, but for him, that's huge. That's like,
Good. If he wants to go buy a house somewhere,
I was
he
gonna
can
say,
do it.
yeah, that's like retiring to Bermuda kind of money.
I think he earned it.
Oh wait, don't do that. Let's give him a job. Let's make him our servant. And he can go clean
I'm
up
giving him
Davynn's
gold.
manor.
Go away.
We need a servant for the manor to make sure, like a caretaker.
It's a cursed matter.
It
We
is a
fixed
cursed
that, didn't we?
banner.
It's only lightly cursed now.
It's only
It's like
vaguely
moderately
cursed. Vaguely cursed. It's fine. It's
This
fine.
is a relative, right?
Yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be. That's for sure.
Anyway, that's 5 drug dealers worth of full stock of blood moss, so
You can get real fucked up on that.
I like violence relative. Yes. Units of blood moss. How fucked up could we get for this money? All right, so he will. It's stunned, but still accept this wealth of gold.
you know that is the other way we could have shown him we were the heroes of Loreholt. Probably just like turned out our Loreholt, Greylock. We could have just turned
Wherever.
out our pockets. Because
We're
like, who
the
else is
bandits.
carrying this much money? I don't think bandits have this much money.
No,
we're
bandits.
the,
don't
no,
have
no,
that
no.
much
So we're
money.
the heroes of Greylock, but we're the bandits of Loreholt.
Basically,
I know, but there's also a lot of bandits in Loreholt. Like, there's a lot of competition. But yeah,
Yeah,
he
but I don't-
will pocket the money and leave through the midden door quickly, swiftly, pulling his robes around his throat, and doesn't even shut it behind him. Just goes, pops back into the sewers.
Oh, we didn't get his name.
we
Nope.
can get it when we talk to his contact.
Well, how are we going to arrange that? Because I mean, we're
He
going to
gave
have to. He gave us the drop location, but we're going to have to keep watch on the drop location if we want to make contact.
Well,
And
I'm sure his
imagine
contact will get into touch with us if it's who I think it is.
Stanley.
You think it's Stanley?
Oh God!
No, not Stanley. I think it might be the Blackbird person.
Who's Stanley?
Evil.
I'm holding out hope that it's not.
Why? Why can't Stanley be the Blackbird? What? What do you have against Stanley?
Because that would mean Stanley is cooler than me.
That's-
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like Stanley's whole Stanleyness could literally be a persona to separate him from whoever this Blackbird person is. I don't.
That's
I think I
true.
missed that.
Stanley is his Bruce Wayne.
Could be.
Exactly. Also, I'm confused. Who's the Blackbird? I missed that.
Oh, he's
Oh.
like a. I'll let you explain. You know.
Oh no, go ahead. If you know, go ahead.
I don't. Not really. Not as well as you. He's like Sid explained it. He's like James Bond for the Argent Order. Him and
Oh,
Kat
that's legit.
are supposedly the main. Well, I don't know if I got that right. Maybe you should.
No,
explain
yeah,
that.
you're right. No, you're absolutely right. There are two like head people of the Seekers. There's two captains. Kat's one of them, and she's she lives in the hold, and she's very
She's the
very
public
much
face.
front and center. Yeah, not too public because she's still a spy, but yeah, within the order, she's part of the Bandit Brigade, which personally serves her grace. She's very much in the thick of things. And then you have the other one is the Blackbird. Nobody knows Blackbird's actual name. Like since Eddie's very much or the 007, nobody really knows what he looks like. He doesn't.
It's Stanley.
He
100%
doesn't
is Stanley.
check in. He's got his
Exactly.
own crew. He's got his own method of doing stuff. Like he's sort of the CIA versus the FBI kind of thing.
I'm with Xylund. It's 100% Stanley.
Okay, it may be, and maybe that's absolutely where things are leading, but I'm still holding out hope that it's not.
I mean, think about it. He poses basically as Kat's errand boy / secretary. It's the perfect cover.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I really hope it's not.
I think what we should do is we should like do the drop off, but we should have like Lana disguise herself as a bird or something like that to follow whoever picks up the drop so we can trace him back to Stanley and settle this question once and for all. Because clearly this is the most important thing that's going on, is Stanley the Blackbird.
The lily on all of your shoulders is also practically begging you let her try to decode that information.
I was thinking that, but it might take a while.
If it's too complicated, then she can just make a copy and try and decode it while you guys go and put it in the drop.
Oh, that
It's
makes
not like it's
that's not
magically
bad.
protected.
That's true. We should make a copy, and then yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thanks, Shoulder Lily.
I love how whenever one of us isn't present somewhere, we have a shoulder version of them.
Well, yeah, pretty much. All right, so you want to make a copy of the message before y'all head out?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to do in Castle Caract?
Lily does need to examine the glyphs on the barbarian.
Okay.
How many healing potions was she able to make in the entire time total of from waking up to
Roll a die 4.
die 4? Die 4.
That many.
Subtract 1 for feeding cat a healing potion, just to see if maybe it helps at all. Hopefully.
Force
A little
feeding
bit.
her potions.
I mean, we do it.
I still
People
don't
do
like
it-
this.
Okay, but it is D&Dism. If somebody drops unconscious and is bleeding
Yes.
out, people force feed them potions all the time.
Yes, that's fine. All right.
Wait.
So you
Set up an arterial line, you cowards.
You have a net, a net 1 potion. And you're gonna make a
Sure.
copy of the thing. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before you go?
She'll hand the healing potion to Kern.
Okay, Kern can have it because he's the responsible one.
Well, it's that, and it's also the policy that when you're bringing someone up, and Kern's like our primary healer, Xylund and Lana can both bring people up, but if like Davynn or I were trying to bring someone up, you should always use their supplies first, so that if you go down, people can then use your supplies. It's just good battlefield practice.
Okay. All right. Well, with the message copied, cat resting, you all are headed to the drop location to see what happens.
Correct.
Okay. Are you going to
How
do
are
the
we
bird
going to
thing?
disguise ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lana can go as a bird.
I'm a bird.
No, Lily's a bird. She can cast that for free.
You're the bird.
How long does my limpy disguise last anyway?
Oh, I don't think it lasts all that long.
Maybe. I'm looking. Oh, 1 hour. So I guess I cast that again.
Okay.
Turn myself into Limpy the half dwarf.
Okay. You can be limpy.
Whoops.
What kind of burb are you gonna be, Lily?
I think ravens are the smartest tiny bird that you can be.
Okay.
In IRL, I don't know how that translates to D&D. And also, Lily has an affinity with ravens. So,
Okay.
actually, wait, is this going to be done at night?
No, you guys just woke up.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
Then yeah.
midday tops.
Okay, then yeah, raven.
Okay. Lana or Davynn, any precautions you'd like to take before you go?
Well, gee,
No.
when you say it like that. Nah, we're fine.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're good.
You're
Okay.
just gonna go as Davynn?
Well, I could go as Jack Dangerous, but this is a serious situation, so
I do have 2 free invisibilities. We could just be invisible.
By the way, Lana,
Yeah.
could you put this in the bag of holding, and I'll hand her the extra herb bag.
You want me to put a bag in the bag of holding?
Well, I don't need to carry 2 around, but if we run out of
I
supplies
think that causes a dimensional rift, but sure. I'll put it in the bag.
only if it's a dimensional bag. It's just a normal bag.
Oh, I thought it was any bag. I've been
No,
avoiding
it's-
putting any container in this thing.
No, you can put anything you want in a bag of holding, but a bag of holding inside a bag of holding causes
I was
problems.
taking all the lids off the jars before I put anything in the bag. Anyway, I'll put it in the bag.
Thank you.
All right. And so we're mussing up Davynn's hair, so he looks dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, with seeming, Lily could disguise all of us simultaneously.
Yeah, and I also have Ultra Self. Like, we really want to commit to looking different.
Well, I mean, you're probably the least sticky outy one of us, so you maybe don't even need a disguise.
That was true when he was just Davynn from Whitfeld, but now he's Davynn from Whitfeld, hero of Greylock.
And Dragon Person.
Yeah,
And
but you
Dragon
don't have
Person.
scales on your face, do you, yet? Or do you? Do you have scales on your face?
Do I have scales on my face?
No, not yet. So far, they've mostly stuck to legs and torso. No scales on face yet. It's been creeping up your neck a little bit, but not to your face.
I mean, I don't think we should, like, philosophically, we haven't done anything wrong, I don't think. So we shouldn't really be hiding in the first place. It's just that it would slow us down if we had a bunch of people up in our faces while we were trying to do stuff.
It's up to you guys. I'm not saying either way. I'm just giving you the opportunity before you leave.
Yeah, I'll go invisible. It's fun.
Okay.
I can be Blavin from Blitfeld.
Lavin from Whitfeld. All right. So our little field trip heads out, following the directions to the drop, which again is literally just this little back alley right along the river. And you are able to drop the missive into a nondescript barrel. And then you just wait. And you can hear the market, and you can hear the Templars marching by. Things are a little more subdued than normal. A lot more Templars on the street, though. It's always fun.
This is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. After a little while, you hear feathers rustling, and for once, it's not Lily. As a massive blackbird comes down, bobs into the barrel through a hole in the back, and then comes out the same way he went in, with your missive in his beak, and heads off deeper into the city.
I guess Lily will follow.
Are you Stanley?
I guess Lily will follow as best she can.
All right. It's not difficult to track this guy. He goes into sort of bobs and weaves through the old city, and then comes around into some of the poorer areas where it kind of gets shot down with a rubber band, like a rubber band clips its wing, and it tumbles and falls to the ground. Missive still in its beak. Keeping an eye on it, you see a young child, like 6 or 7 years old, run up to where it is on the rough street, picks up the missive, picks up the bird, and goes hauling ass off
I'm
into
following the
the
child.
ramshackle. Are you Stanley? He ends up going into a massive sort of conglomeration of shops. There's probably 3 or 4 different shop fronts that have all been crammed into this building, and it looks like there are residences on top. So he goes into the back of this conglomeration of businesses, and a few minutes later he comes out with what looks like a handful of coins that he shoves quickly into his pocket. No bird and no missive, and he goes running off into the streets.
Can I see where he came out of? Is there like a window or something I can?
There's multiple windows in the back. There's a couple of different entrances, but they go to the door that he went to goes into a common area that is shared by multiple shops. So there's 3 places that actually feed into that area, and the area itself is kind of a storage room. So there's lots of bags and barrels and people milling about in there.
Okay, and I see no sign of a bird.
You don't really see the bird, no, just people walking around. The businesses that share this building, one seems to be a like a mending shop or a tailor shop. They seem to be dealing in cloth. Could even be a laundress. You're not really sure. One building is a baker. You can definitely tell by the flour and the individuals walking around covered in it. And the third place is some kind of pawn shopper or money lender. A lot of bric-a-brac in the back that they carry to the front.
Okay. Um. Okay. How far away am I from the others at this point?
I mean, you didn't fly terribly far. The bird took a pretty wide route. Basically, I mean, it's might be a 10-minute walk for the crew to get here. They just have to cross the river. You guys are just on the
Okay,
wrong side.
and that's very much farther than 120 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going. Is there any like secluded alleys or anything that would anywhere I could change back without having eyes
Oh,
on me?
yeah. Again, this place is like double-decker run on top of one another. It's nothing but little bolt holes and secluded areas. Like, this is
Okay.
not a place you want to be after dark, that's for sure.
I'll find one, change back, write a message, give it to Natalie, the bookbinder, to take to Lana. Obviously, I know that that Natalie won't be able to bring a message back, but just tell them where I am and what I saw, and send her on her way.
Okay. All right. So, Lana, you get your message from the book explaining where Lily is.
I sense we have a problem.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, can anyone else here cast Locate Object, or is it just me?
I can cast Locate Object.
Okay, I'm gonna
Uh,
turn you into a bird. Go find the missive, because I think Lily lost it.
Oh, wait. I can't cast it as a bird, though.
You cast it, and then I
You
turn
can
you into a bird.
maintain it as a bird.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that then. Okay, so I'll cast Locate Object. And
You are now a bird. Have fun.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think
try
she
to
lost it. I
locate
really let's not lose it.
Wait, do I get to
And
pick which bird? Hang on.
Do you want to be a raven? I think it's thematically appropriate. You might
Can I
get
be
shot.
a gray raven?
Sure, you're a gray raven. Go.
Okay.
and I'm also going to be like just constantly casting the message cantrip so that any one of my party members that come within 120 feet gets the message of exactly what I saw happen.
All right. So, Xylund the Grey Raven, you're tracking the missive. It does take you to the same little clump o shops that Lily is close to. As you get closer, you can hear her message.
Okay.
That again just sort of gives you the same information. The missive itself is inside the clump o shops, inside the center one, as best you can tell, which would be the bakery.
Okay. So as a raven, do I still have my normal intelligence? Like, do I still
Nope.
think like
You have the
myself?
intelligence of a bird, which, to be fair, is pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, okay. Hmm. Well, I would recognize Lily though, so I fly down to the source of her message, I guess, and
Okay.
just sort of land on the ground in front of her and sort of cock my head and hop up and down a bit.
Okay.
Do you want me to follow you?
I nod, I guess. Do I understand speech as a raven?
As a revenue, I mean, birds are smart.
Okay.
You can understand. I think you only need what 3 to understand.
Okay. In that case, seeming or invisibility. Any shoulder people have a come to weigh in on seeming or invisibility?
Well, if you're
One of the
asking
two.
the raven will close his eyes for a little few seconds and then open them again.
Okay. In that case, I'll make both of us invisible so that Xylund Raven can stay on the shoulder and like direct. And I think at second level I can do 3, or is it at third level I can do 3? Nope, it's third level. Okay, I'll do this at third level so that we're both invisible.
Okay. So by sort of pecking the side of Lily's head, I will direct her to where we probably should have come up with a system. I will hop from one shoulder to the other to tell her when to turn, I guess, and then
Yeah,
peck
that works.
side of her head.
Okay.
Or you could just land on the shoulder, but whatever. Lily's
This-
just grumbling to herself.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky because like we're both invisible, so I'm trying to navigate from one shoulder to the other while invisible, while you're invisible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to have
look,
to move slowly, is what I'm
Heck.
saying.
Behind the ear is left. In front of the ear is right. Please try not to draw blood.
Okay.
You're gonna be a bloody mess. Like there's
I
nothing.
am going to be a bloody mess.
Yeah,
Ravens
nothing
are
you can do about
dicks.
it. Nothing you can do about that.
Just
So
headbutt.
where are you driving Lily then?
I'm going to try to drive her as close to the to it's the baker shop you said?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's where I'll drive her. And I'll, keep my locate object up so I know if it moves.
Okay. All right. So are you taking her to the front door of the bakery or the back door, or where are you headed?
I mean, if he just directs me to the bakery, then I can. Well, no, he knows where in the bakery the object would be. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll
Yeah.
let him drive. I'll let him drive.
Did I get a good enough lay of the land to know that there's a front door and a back door?
Well, I mean, you didn't, but it kind of stands to reason. The door that you saw, because you were kind of following, like getting close to Lily, is clearly like a supply door. So it would make sense for there to be some sort of front entrance, because it is. I mean, it's a shop.
Okay, well I'll go
So-
with the front entrance because we hopefully won't have to actually open a door.
Okay. Your hunch is correct. The front door, actually the front door to all 3 businesses, but the front door of the bakery is open. And there's actually quite a few people coming in and out. There are multiple customers inside. There are 3 sort of counter workers trying to keep up with all the orders. And then there are multiple doors that lead back towards that storage area, which is where your located object is telling you that the missive itself is behind this this front area here.
Lily will whisper to Xylund that the front door is a bad idea with this many people in invisibility. I'm not very stealthy, but I will run into someone. If there's no one in the back area, I could get us in.
Well, there are people though, because you peeked in the window when you were a bird, and the back area is also full of people because it's a shared space.
I will quietly whisper back, "Caw."
Okay. Invisibility. I'm guessing opening a. Oh, I guess I'll try. I'll see if the supply door is unlocked.
Well, we'd have to leave and go back.
We're
Like-
just going around the building, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
go around the building if you want to.
Yeah, opening a door wouldn't break invisibility because it's not an attack or casting a spell. So I guess I will check to see if either the door or the window are unlocked.
The door itself is closed but unlocked.
peck twice if this is a bad idea.
I'll just let it go.
Okay. I'm gonna just crack the door, peek and see if there's anybody inside there.
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's a shared storage space, so there's oodles of people back here.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna run into people back here as well. Like, okay, I don't know how to. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could just peck twice, and then we can try to attempt the front.
Okay, what I would like to do is, as much as I am able, is sort of navigate Lily into the bakery, where I have a good eye line to where the thing is, and then get her to fucking stop there, off to one side where she's not going to be in the middle of a crowd of people.
Okay.
That was my goal in the beginning, but
Okay.
Okay. We can try like a performance check, insight check, duality to see how well he communicates this and how well I understand
you're
it.
both invisible, so you can't see each other is the problem. So insight's not really going to help because there's nothing to judge it on. And he's a bird.
Fair.
So
okay, this is the new plan. Once we back out of the storeroom, I'm going to gently peck Lily's head 3 times, and then leave her shoulder, and sort of stand watch on my own in the bakery.
Go inside the bakery?
Yep.
Okay. Front door or back?
Front door.
Okay.
If there's a rafter I can perch on.
Oh yeah, like again,
rafter.
these are again, like I said, they're sort of ramshackle wooden structures. So yeah, they're thatch roofs and open beams. Yeah, there's plenty of places for you to go, and it's not exactly as if this is the cleanest area of the city. So there's all kinds of in neighborhood cats and dogs wandering in and out, and it. Even if you weren't invisible, having a bird sitting in the rafters would not be considered out of the ordinary.
Well, I'm an invisible bird.
Yes, but even if you weren't, I'm just saying that you could very easily maneuver your way through here. There's plenty of room, plenty of places for you to sit. From the front area of the bakery, it looks like rather than the door to the storeroom, the ping for your missive is coming from a section next door. So it's not actually in the storeroom. It might be either in if there's residential quarters or an office or something off to the side, and so that door is shut. So it's
not actually in the bakery.
It is, but it's not in the storeroom. It's behind the front part of the bakery in a smaller separate room, sandwiched between the front business part and the storeroom.
Oh my god. Okay. I will watch for like 5 minutes to see if the door opens.
No.
Does the message move?
No, message does not move. Message is stationary.
I will fly back out to where I left Lily.
Okay.
And I will
I have not moved. Yeah, I have not moved.
Okay. So I will try just going off of memory to land back on Lily's shoulder.
Okay.
Making gentle caw sounds as I do so that she knows what's happening.
Okay.
I assumed the 3 pecks meant don't move an inch.
That's what they meant, yes.
As Lana and Davynn are making their way.
So do I manage to land on her shoulder?
Yes. Through trial and error, yes. I mean, you know basically where she is.
Okay,
and I can help.
I will maneuver her back towards the storage door and get her to open it if I can.
Okay.
Okay, I will do so.
I'll gently
stealthily
peck the side of her head 3 times and squeeze in through the door.
Go ahead and roll your stealth, Lily.
I shouldn't have said stealthily.
Oh no! What did you do?
Lily tripped over nothing and slammed the cracked door shut.
Yeah, she makes her way into the main storeroom. Yep, trips over her own feet, knocks into somebody else, knocks a bag of flour over and open, puffing up into the into the busy room as everyone just stops stock still and stares.
Are we outlined in flour now?
No, but if you walk through it, you will be.
Well, I don't have to walk. I'll fly up to the rafters.
Okay.
I'm getting out of this shit. Finally.
Is it possible to back up and not go through the flower?
You can. That's really the only place you can go.
I will
is
do
back
that.
up.
Xylund can take it from here. I will back up.
All right. So as Lily backs up through the door, trying desperately not to run into anything else, I'll have Lana and Davynn make their way over. So you guys can all be there again. You just can't see her. But at least you can basically track down the location where everybody is.
It's where the giant cloud of flour is.
How would you like to proceed, Lana and Davynn?
Oh god, I didn't think this far ahead.
Yeah, I thought we might walk in on them, not invisible,
Yeah,
but
there's-
I guess we can't see them.
Yeah,
Nope.
there's no one here.
Should we back up?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back outside.
Okay.
Did they run into
Xylund.
Lily?
Well, no, because you're at the back,
Oh, and they're at the front.
and yeah, and they can't see you, so they don't have any idea where you are. Xylund,
This is such a bad idea.
are you just chilling in the rafters?
Me, I'm trying to find a way into the room that I couldn't get into before. That's the
Okay.
ultimate goal.
All right. So
Well-
as you sit in your rafters, the door to presumably that area does open, and an older man comes out, big belly on him, big Santa Claus looking kind of guy, checking out the commotion as apprentices and other helpers try to clear up the flower mess, all talking amongst themselves. Because again, most of the people that work here are apprentices or otherwise, local kids. So they're between ages 10 and like 16. They're all just trying to get things cleared up. They're all clearly freaked out about what's going on. So Santa pokes his head out the door to see what all the hubbub is about.
Can I get into the door while he pokes his head out?
If you go super fast.
I go super fast!
Alright. So you go super fast. He walks out into the storage room, shutting the door behind him, and helps the apprentices clear things up, cleaning up the flour.
So now I'm shut into the room?
Yep, you're in a small office, crowded, full of paperwork and boxes.
And you're still trapped as a bird, because I don't know
Yeah.
to unbird you.
Yep, you're still a bird.
I'm an invisible bird, though.
Still invisible. Yeah, the room is just crammed full of boxes full of papers and odds and sods from the bakery, change of clothes. There's a little cot on one side. The entire desk is full of paperwork, letters, correspondence, just a mess in there. A half-smoked cigar sitting in the ashtray. Yeah, it's very messy.
But the message is still in here?
Mm-hmm.
Are there rafters?
Oh, yeah.
I will go perch in the rafters and keep an eye on where I think the message is.
Okay. Well, it's on the desk, as best you can tell.
Okay, well, while I'm in here and no one else is, I'll pop around on his desk a bit and see if I can read what else is on there.
Okay.
Can I read as a bird?
I don't think you can read.
No!
I mean,
Well,
you can
I'll
look
go-
I
at
don't unbird
it.
you because you're invisible!
You can definitely look at it, but no, I don't think you're literate at this point.
I'll look at it and I'll try to impress it upon my memories that I can.
Okay.
Since I just have a tiny bird brain, I don't realize that Xylund has a real shit memory. but I will do my best.
Okay. So you hop around in your visible bird form, looking at various paperwork that you can't read. You have no idea what it says.
And then I'll go back up to the rafters.
All right.
Oh wait, does he have anything shiny on there?
Well, his tree's kind of shiny, but no, most of it's pretty dull, and like everything's just kind of old and secondhand. And there's nothing really nice in here.
Okay, I'll go up to the rafters
Okay.
and wait.
And wait. So after a bit, he opens the door and comes back in, shuts it behind him, sits down on his chair, which kind of creaks under his weight a bit. He kind of cocks his head to the side like he's listening to something, and then goes back to reading through the letters on his desk, his hand going to a drawer, reaching in and pulling out what appears to be a firearm.
I will hop a little bit to the side.
Okay. It's not a large gun. It's fairly small. It's something you've seen in Loreholt. He points it up towards the rafters, and without looking up at you, says, "I suggest you come down now."
I will keep hopping along the rafter and see if the gun follows me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll
I like
fly
this
down
dude.
and land on his desk. Like, if I can land on his desk, okay, maybe, no, I rethink that. Is there a
Okay.
chair on the other side of his desk?
No, he's just got the one that he's sitting in.
Is the desk big?
Yeah, it takes up a good chunk of the room. It's an old desk.
So is it
just covered
possible
in paperwork.
to land on his desk while also being out of his arm's reach?
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
good.
he's kind of a rotund guy. He doesn't have a big reach on him. And right now both of his hands are full. One with a gun, and the other's got a clump of letters in it.
And
Okay.
you are still stuck as a bird.
You are a burb.
Yeah, I will
And
strain.
you're also stuck as invisible.
I'll strain my bird brain to trying to communicate to him that I have been cursed to be an invisible bird, and I'm not here by choice. I'm just looking for someone to save me from this curse, and it'll come out as like a cough.
Why just not be honest in your telepathy?
I mean, it's not like
I'm not even trying to do telepathy. I'm just trying to say something, and it comes out as cough.
Just caw. There he levels the gun at you and raises his eyes. Not the kindest of expressions on his face. I'd save your cause, friend.
You know, if he shoots you, you get unbirded.
Okay.
It's one solution to the
And
problem.
that is where we will end
Dang it.
for this session. We will pick up with the adventures of Xylund, the invisible bird. Davynn and Lana, are you still hanging out? Just so I know for later. Are you still
Yeah,
hanging out
Yep.
in front of the bakery,
We're
Yep.
waiting for a more obvious sign.
waiting for the death screams of an
Like,
invisible
when the gun
bird?
goes off, we'll know.
Yeah, that should be
Then
should be
like, oh, okay, we should be in there now.
yeah, big red flag.
Lily's like pressed up against the side of the wall on the outside, just trying to make sure nobody hits her, and she doesn't fuck anything else up.
That worked out pretty well, though. The whole you tripping into the flower.
No, yeah, that's why in the chat I was like, Lily helped by failing hard. I failed your success. I failed you to success.
So if I get killed as a bird, I just turn into a man again?
Yeah, you just become silent. I mean, if he shoots you again, you might be in trouble, but
So, yeah, but any hit points over, any damage over the bird's health will transfer to Xylund.
like that'll
But
hurt.
it's-
But you're not a
But
winnie.
it won't be much.
It's a gun.
Depends
It
on
might
how
be
much
some.
It depends on
But
how
you're a
much
god,
a
so-
gun's damage is.
Yeah, you're a god. It's fine. Perfectly fine.
If I just keep saying it, it becomes true.
That's
I
right.
mean,
Here's
Xylund
a
can't
weird
turn him.
question. If he gets shot as a bird, does his heavy armor mastery apply to the damage he receives once he reverts into an armor-wearing paladin?
Well, he doesn't have
Oh.
his heavy armor on because
Oh,
he's
I
got
guess.
his suit.
What suit?
Your suit.
Your wetsuit.
Yeah.
Oh, my skin tight armor. It's still heavy armor though.
What?
But it's not like heavy. I mean, it counts as heavy armor, but it's not like actually heavy armor.
Yeah, so like, would the feat that reduces damage apply if he gets
Yeah,
shot while not wearing it
technically,
when he
yes.
reverts? Okay. That's a
Technically,
weird-
technically it would because he still has his suit.
Yeah.
So
But he would
it'll
also
be
still be
interesting.
invisible
Yes,
because he hasn't made an attack or cast a spell.
but this guy doesn't seem to care about invisible.
Maybe he's got true sight, or
He's
maybe
cool.
he's got detect magic, or maybe
He's got
both.
something.
What is he?
Ooh,
on?
maybe he just keeps detect thoughts running constantly.
Oh, that'd be exhausting.
I
It
would not
would
want to
be.
hear
It would
silent
be.
thoughts.
But if he's a spy master type, that's the exact kind of paranoid thing that they would do.
That is true. If he's a spy, who knows what he's got?
Or he could just have, an alarm around his door.
Or on his desk. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped around on his desk.
He was able to point the gun at you. It's probably
Yeah,
a little
that's true.
than that.
Probably all of the above.
And it's not Stanley yet.
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 Mhm.
I feel like there's a whole chain that this drop-off thing goes through.
That's why I'm trying to keep an eye on it, just to
That
follow.
was my thought, but he sort of jumped up big league a little bit when he started being able to have true sight.
That's true.
I mean, he may be like the second to last step before it gets to Stanley.
Holy shit, Stanley's scarier than we realized.
I mean, I always thought he was cool as shit and was definitely hiding something, okay? I always
I always
thought
had the thought we could beat him up in a pinch.
Nope.
You
I never
probably
thought that.
could.
I don't believe you.
You probably
I-
what? You could beat up Stanley. Stanley's
Actually,
a nerd.
Lana, Noel, we did kill like an ancient black dragon.
Yeah.
Even if Stanley is this uber badass blackbird, we probably could take him in a fight.
As I say
It's
regularly, we're basic.
Yeah, you are.
And none of us have the propensity of turning ourselves into goldfish and jumping off of cliffs.
Yet.
So we're not challenging our godhood.
I challenge it on the regular.
I was gonna say, I think the invisible bird flying into the office is an interesting challenge to godhood.
I don't think I've made it a single session without challenging our godhood.
Okay, it's an interesting challenge to godhood, but counterpoint, the fact that we can do invisible bird maneuvers like that
Yeah.
is also an argument for.
Yeah. I mean, sure. That's a thing. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll have to see how well it works out for you in the next time. I see.
We really should play with more of these layering magical effect strategies in the future because it was actually pretty effective if you think about it. We just couldn't account for him being paranoid spy master.
Well, I mean, you guys
We
can't
absolutely
find
could have
each
seen that
other.
coming.
Yeah.
There were
but-
so many
Yeah,
things we would have done
so-
better. But the moment
so
you
it-
lost him, I was just like, shit, we gotta.
So here's my thing though. Yes, we can't find each other, but if I had been thinking, I would have laid a telepathic bond before we had even left.
But
Yeah,
we
that would have
don't
been a
think.
good idea.
That's our
So-
problem.
I mean, we're getting there. We're getting the synergy down.
We absolutely are, because I somehow managed to, without Sin telling me, know that 3 Pexment don't fucking move. But yeah, if I laid a telepathic bond, that's not concentration, so I still could have done invisibility. So yeah, I mean, for the future, if we do something like Invisible Bird again, telepathic bond. But layering these magical effects actually turns out to provide some interesting new ways, new strategies that we can pursue.
Yeah, Lana, as usual, I'm just gonna knock on the door.
It's
As
like
always.
surprisingly effective, though.
It kind of is.
Knocking on the door has worked really well,
Yeah.
pretty often,
Yeah.
I mean,
as opposed to
honestly,
burning down the house.
I stopped objecting to Noel's propensity to poke things when in Loreholt we were trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and she just went and talked to somebody, and next thing you know, we were where we needed
Guys,
to
the
be.
plot's over here in the sidebar. Guys.
Yeah, no, like, I stopped objecting to you poking everything when that happened. Because I was like, oh, she moves the plot forward. That's why when I was like, I think Noel should start because she moves things forward, I wasn't joking. Noel and Xylund are the ones who get the most forward momentum when we stall.
It's called I don't take my Adderall to play D&D. That would suck.